Morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Yachts here. Sunday morning, we're playing the Portland Trailblazers this afternoon at 3:30. So early start today, not a 7:30 start. So be ready for that because the game is a little bit earlier today. We're playing Portland. Not a bad team, but not a good team either. They're 500 team exactly, and they have struggled in recent weeks, not winning as many games as they're losing. So they're in similar kind of position as us in some ways, as far as like having a hard time and establishing like a string of games together. But yeah, they've lost three out of their last four. They've lost, uh, it looks like six out of their last eight. So yeah, they're not playing that well. So we need to capitalize on this. I mean, they could be dangerous, obviously. And our problems kind of like allow teams that aren't playing well to do better because not shooting well and having some of the fundamental problems that we have as a team right now make it easy for other teams to get it together and get going. So, man, this sucks. Hang on a sec. So, all right. Our injuries are pretty simple right now for us. Obviously, still Otto Porter is the only one out for us, which is good. We have everybody, which we need. But Portland has some issues going on right now. Gary Payton II is probable for today. It's his ankle, so he could be playing. We'll see. He's probable. Nurkic is actually on the injury report this morning. He was not there yesterday. He's day to day. So there's a possibility that your Yusuf Nurkic is not going to be available for them tonight. And you know what? I wouldn't be upset because he's one of the people on their side that I'm kind of most worried about. The way we've been giving up double doubles to the other center and letting them do anything they want down low. If Yusuf Nurkic is not playing today, I won't be totally upset. For sure, out Justice Winslow and Nasir Little. So those guys are good role players off the bench, and they will be missed also. So there's your injury report real quick for today. Not a whole lot for the Raptors, thank goodness. And yeah, we could see Nurkic maybe not playing. That's very interesting to me. Let me check in with you guys on the comments real quick. Jimmy Pope is here first. We're winning 7 straight. You heard it here first. All right, Jimmy. I love that. Bam. That is a great prediction. And I hope it's true. I hope you're right because that would be awesome. I mean, I really do want to start getting on a win streak. That'd be great. Nameless is saying, though, Jimmy, you already have Bailey's in your coffee this morning. He's thinking you added something there, but no, I like his prediction, and why not? Why not Nameless? Let's say why not us? Why can't we get on a streak right now? If we can win this game against a 500 team, Portland coming out here today, and then we can win 2 games in a row against Charlotte, and then we got Atlanta on Friday. We can maybe get some things going this week, maybe get a little bit of a win streak going. Let's just hope for it and pray for it, not just for like the team's record, but for the sanity of the players and the fans. Let's get some wins so everybody can calm the fuck down. You know what I'm saying? Raven Jacobs saying, I want some whatever you're smoking, Jimmy. There you go. I mean, listen, I don't think Jimmy's that far off. Come on, let's be positive. And, I don't think he's crazy. I'm with him. I want to believe too. I may not say 7 straight, but maybe 4 or 5 straight, maybe. Hopefully, we'll see. Tom Duke saying, "Good stuff, Jimmy. Good vibes." Yeah, all right, that's right. Let's get the vibes strong. Let's go, Scotty Barnes. You are the vibes leader. You get those vibes strong today. Yesterday, we saw Chris Boucher on Twitch for about 90 minutes. I was there with him, just like me and 2 other people. It was really kind of weird. That chat is not active because Chris does not read it and he does not interact with people when he's in there, but you can watch him and see what he's doing. And that was kind of fun. I mean, he's so chill. He's not talking. He's just playing the game. He's barely even talking to his teammates in the game. Yeah, he is weird. You could tell that Chris was playing Call of Duty to clear his mind, to get his mind in other areas of the world other than basketball, maybe in the NBA and the Raptors. And he was just in there just shooting people on the video game and running around and having fun. And yeah, he wanted an escape. But it was interesting to see him on Twitch all of a sudden yesterday. and hang out with him for just a little bit. I was writing stuff to him of encouragement. I was saying things like, we need DX to get back together out on the court and just sweet chin music, everybody. We need Triple H and Shawn Michaels out there as a tag team, just kicking some ass. And I talked about a little bit about Precious's move to the basket the other night where he slapped Hartenstein in the face. And I was like, yeah, that was funny when Precious smacked Hartenstein in the face. But yeah, I don't know if Chris saw any of that because he's like I said, he doesn't interact with the chat at all. But yeah, he was on Twitch yesterday. And I don't know, Scotty has not been on Twitch for 3 months. So yeah, it's just that kind of year. Let's see. Ronadan is here. Once again, your streak is alive. I love it, Ronadan. If that Fred VanVleet story is real, he priced himself out of the market. No, actually, that story is real, and I want to cover it real quick. I'm glad you brought it up. Now, listen, this is the whole case of it. Now, everybody's going to look at this and try and say different things about it, but this is the goddamn truth about the whole thing. Let me just say it right now. At the beginning of the season, when the Raptors were allowed to, they offered an extension to Fred VanVleet for $114 million for 4 years. And Fred rejected it. And now the reason why he rejected it is because he wants to explore free agency this summer and maybe get more money. But this is the thing you don't understand about this whole situation. He's not rejecting it. Actually, that's the wrong word to say it. I shouldn't have said rejected it. They put it on pause. It's like it's on hold, and at any time he could just accept it and take it. This is the thing people aren't getting. And this is what Josh Lewenberg's trying to illuminate to everybody. He's like, listen, technically he did not reject the offer. The offer is just sitting on the table at any time. He could go just get it and accept it, and boom, it's done. So it's such a weird thing. And if you look at where the number is in relation to other point guards in the league, let's just say this. Jalen Brunson's making 104 over 4 years, and Chris Paul's making 120. And well, Fred would make 114. So you tell me if that's a fair price for Fred VanVleet for 4 years. You tell me if that's a fair price for Fred VanVleet for 4 years. He's right in between Jalen Brunson and Chris Paul. Chris Paul 120, Jalen Brunson 104, Fred VanVleet 114. So you tell me. And I'm telling you, if things keep going as bad as they are for Fred, in some ways he might snatch that deal up at any moment. And the extension's done because apparently he can take it at any time right until the end of the season. So that's part of it, y'all. The whole picture isn't what people are thinking. It's like, oh, that's so much money, and he rejected it, and he's not taking it, and he's greedy, is what a lot of people are trying to say right now. Well, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. In some ways, it's a leverage thing. In some ways, it's a thing where I want to see how things go this season. And if I play even better, maybe I'm worth more money. But in fact, he's probably losing money. And in some ways, that deal may be looking more and more attractive as the season goes on with how the season's going. So just to clarify things, he's not rejected the deal. The deal's on the table for him to take at any time. They both mutually agreed to not decide at this point, and that the deal could still be taken up at any time before the end of the season. So just wanted to clarify things. Yeah, he has not priced himself out of anything. That deal is still there for him to take, and the Raptors are still very much willing to tender that price and give it to him. Let's see. I'm a fun guy saying, damn, we really match up horribly against Portland. Can't remember the last time we beat them, but they have always had CJ McCollum, who's a Raptor killer. Well, he's gone. He's in New Orleans. We don't have to worry about him. Obviously, we've got to worry about Lillard. Lillard is the number one guy for them and the guy that you really have to worry about when it comes to Portland. This has always been the case for a few years now. You got to worry about Damian Lillard. So, yeah, that's going to be the guy that we're going to really have to worry about. Of course, there's Simons, too. He's an up-and-coming young guard who's fantastic in a lot of ways. There's a few players on this team that are worrisome. But in some ways, if Nurkic is not playing and McCollum's gone, this team is a little bit different to deal with. I mean, let me go over their lineup. We got to remember also they got Jeremy Grant from Detroit in a deal this offseason. So they have a very skilled power forward now also who came from there. And he I don't know how he's fitting in there. And then, of course, the rookie, the much heralded Canadian who will have a lot of family in the stands and friends, Shaedon Sharpe. that he will be a big attraction for the game tonight. A lot of people will be coming there to see him because he has a lot of athleticism and he's doing really amazing things out on the court. He's very exciting to watch. And apparently, he's already declared that he would like to be in the NBA slam dunk competition. And he is an early favorite to win that because he is involved. But yeah, this team, I don't think they're that deep. That's one of the things about Portland is that they're not a very deep team. They have a few injuries right now with Winslow and Little and maybe even Gary Payton and Nurkic out. And then it's very thin after that. Dame Lillard, Anthony Simons, Josh Hart, Jeremy Grant, Shaden Sharp, Jabari Walker, Drew Eubanks, who they picked up from us waiving him in that one deal that we made. Drew Eubanks went there. And Keon Johnson, Trendon Watford. I mean, those names aren't big, huge, crazy names. And you see how shallow they are with names. You get Lillard, Simons, Grant, Nurkic, and Hart, and Sharp, and then boom, the rest of them are kind of like, eh. So in some ways, they may be like us as far as not having a very good bench production. We can only hope that there's some sort of equalizer with that. But who knows? Maybe our bench will be much better today. I don't know. These Raptors, you got to get something going right. There was an interview yesterday with Joe Weiskamp. He came in, did an interview at practice yesterday. Nick Nurse also doing an interview. Nick is very big on him. He doesn't really know him. He hadn't met him before until yesterday. And Joe came in very professional. He said, listen, I've been watching this team for a bit from afar, and this is a dream to come to Toronto. I just wanted to get called up and put on another team and get another opportunity. And he's really looking forward to this. This kid seems like he's a very confident young man, and hopefully he can hit shots right away. There won't be any weird period where he's kind of like not hitting shots. Now, Nick Nurse was very coy about what Joe Weiskamp's role would be on our roster, but it sounds like it's wide open for anything. I bet you, because he was so coy about it, I'll bet you he will play him today. But bet you money Joe Weiskamp is going to get some money, some minutes against the Portland Trailblazers today. If anything, we need to look at him quickly because he's on a 10-day. And if, we want to see him for a while, and if he's good, we'll sign him to another one, or maybe not. Maybe if it doesn't work out, we get another guy and try out another player in that spot. So we'll have to see. Joe's up for the challenge, and he seems like that kind of guy that will try and make the best of this and may actually make the team just in a short tryout. So I'm very curious to see how much Joe plays tonight, or if he plays at all. I think he will. We'll have to see. I don't know if we match up badly against them, fun guy. I don't know. I mean, if Nurkic is playing, sure. But, in some ways, Dame Lillard being their most important player, he can be tough. But I think Fred plays him pretty well in the past. I think that we've had good luck against Lillard. I don't really remember any games where Damian Lillard went off on us for 50 or something. I need to shut up just in case. No, none of that today. Logical Raptors fanatics here. Salute real ones. Project Truth always. Mike, you're sending me emails, and I don't totally understand what you're talking about in those emails. So I'm just not going to respond to them. They're wild emails, and whatever you got going, I don't want to get mixed up into it. And we'll just keep them separated. How about that? Jimmy Pope's saying, I'm trying, guys. You know what? I'm with Jimmy, y'all. I'm not against him, what he's saying. I love what he's saying, and I believe, too. I'm with Jimmy, and I am believing with him. 7-game win streak. He wants it. He ordered it up. Let's go get it. Let's go get it, Toronto. Yeah, Marlon Toby is here. Good to see you, Marlon. Man, that three-point line. Don't let Dame, Anthony, or that kid, Epilepsy, sneeze. He can kill the team like the last time. Yeah, we need to be always. That's just something we need to do. And you know what? This is something that they said in our game on national television with Milwaukee was that Richard Jefferson, J.J. Redick, and Mark Jones were recognizing that the Raptors were once really poor at guarding the three-point line. And over the year or so, they've gotten pretty good at it. And that's something that's changed about us. That from the outside, people are saying, oh, they didn't guard three-pointers very well a year or two ago, but they're doing a better job. So at least we haven't gotten better in that area of improvement from last year, I would say. I mean, we do really guard the three better than we did last year. And maybe that's just because we have to. So, yeah, definitely got to watch that three-point line. Definitely watch out for that. The best rapper in the NBA, Dame Lillard, Dame Dollar. Yeah, we got to look out for him and not let him spit any rhymes at the 3-point line. We just got to stop him. And that Anthony kid is something else. He's a baller. He's scary. He's dangerous. He has that mentality to put the ball in the hoop, and we need to contain him. Like, one of the things that we do have in our favor is Vision 6'9" in this case. A lot of times we have a size advantage at most of the positions when guarding some of the Trailblazers, and we should be able to like use that to hopefully contain these guys a little bit better. You know, you got OG, Precious, Scotty running around after guys that are like maybe 3 or 4 inches shorter than them. Then that can be pretty good, hopefully, for defense. So we need a really good, solid defensive effort, obviously, as always. It's just a prerequisite, important, like has to happen. And then, you know, if we could shoot better, that'd be great. I think the threats to the Noah system yesterday from us maybe scared it. And hopefully the shooting for the team will be way better today. We just need y'all to shoot better. Come on, y'all. Y'all are an NBA team. You're not like some lower level of basketball team that can just shoot so crazy bad all the time. Y'all need to have some pride and make your shots. Like really what, like dial in and say, I'm making my shots today and I'm getting these to go in no matter what. No, I'm not shaky. I'm not having a problem with my confidence. I'm not tentative. I am ready to make my shots because I'm very well intentioned to make them. And then I'm going to come out there and I'm really dial in. I'm going to be like Gary and just clear my mind and say, I don't give a shit about anything. And I'm just going to bomb and I'm going to ball out. And that's what we need, guys like Scotty, Pascal, OG, Fred, the bench guys, Chris, Precious, to do. Just make those shots, y'all, and make them from the beginning. Maybe we get Scott established right away at the beginning of the game. Now, Nurkic is out there. It may be tougher, but who knows? Maybe Nurkic will not be playing. We'll have to see. It is up in the air at this point. Let's see. 100% I am with you, Jimmy. Funny how that 114 offer story has come up and exploding like he made a big mistake. He totally can just accept it. Yeah, Tom. Yeah, it's funny. There's a lot of people that want to bend the facts of that story to weird like places where it's like, listen, there's no animosity. There's no friction between the front office and Fred. This is a very agreed upon number. This is something that has been out there this whole time. And people may say, well, why hasn't he just taken it? He must be greedy if he's waiting till this to opt out in the summer. I don't know. I mean, that's nothing like that. I think that if it's just how it is, and there's nothing really that wrong with what this deal is. There's teams do this all the time. Let's see. Ronna Dan is saying no one is going to pay 114 for shoot first point guard with back issues. You'd be shocked. I think you're completely wrong on that. You'd be shocked at how much this man is coveted in the league, and people will pay him. Everybody's forgetting the value of Fred. They think that he's just some broken down old man who can't make shots and he shoot first and all these criticisms. That's not who he is. When he's proper and who he is, he's very much a huge asset on this team. In fact, people may like him on their team much like they like Kyle Lowry. There's certain intangibles and leadership and certain things that he does that people really, really value. It's not like there's a lot of guys in this league that are like Fred, Kyle, Chris Paul, people like that. So it's like some teams just want that kind of leadership and steadiness in some ways. So yeah, you're wrong on this one. They will pay him that. And in fact, other teams may pay him way more. In some ways, part of it is that you don't understand that the nut prices are going up anyway because the salary cap's going up. And that these numbers may look too big for guys, but we don't even keep up with the trends of how much the salaries increase. They look horribly big every single time, but that is just the going rate as it goes up with the salary cap going up. So that may sound like a crazy huge amount for Fred, but really that isn't. For 4 years, that is not that bad. Honestly, that's less than 120 million. So that's less than what, 30 million a year. That's not bad. Fred's a 20 million player somewhere in the middle of that. That's about right. That is about right. That's not too greedy, and that's not underpaying him either. You may think that that's a crazy number for him, but you'd be shocked. You would be shocked how much maybe Chicago or Orlando would give him maybe 130. Yeah, you don't think I'm right, Ronadan? I bet you Chicago or Orlando might give him 130 million for 4 years. That's what I'm saying. And that's up to him. He wants to go take a little bit more money for somebody else to go play for another team. Well, that's his fault then. That's what I'll say at that point. Name was saying, I think Fred knows he'll get that figure from anybody. Yeah, he'll get it. He can get more from other people. He'd probably give us the discount just to stay here and not have the headache to go to other teams and switch his life all completely around. That's part of the thing is that's the other thing about it is some people are just it's not that they're lazy, it's just that it's a real fucking headache to like uproot yourself and go to another city and just do the whole change around and stuff. It's just a really big headache. And some guys just don't like it. Like I know Fred is this kind of guy. He'd rather kind of just stick to the one place and just really stay loyal to it and be there for the whole time because it's just easier in some ways. And I think that this is the case with him. I know this is partly the case with Chris. Chris Boucher did not really look around in free agency last year because he really honestly did not want to leave Toronto. So it's not like he put himself out there or interviewed or went and looked and saw what people were offering him. He could have probably made more money playing for somebody else, but he would have hated it. So he said, no, I'll take the money that's good here and just stay in Toronto. So you guys got to realize some players aren't just like get the most money possible that they can get. They really do factor in their situation and how things are going in the place that they're at into the factoring. And if things are good, it ain't broken, don't fix it, they stay and they may take less money. And that's the case definitely with Chris. And I'm going to say about Fred too, when this is all said and done, watch. I'm a fun guy saying, and I don't care what anyone thinks, but to me, if Tyler Hero can make 130, Fred should definitely get that range, if not more, to be honest. There you go. See, Tyler Hero's making 130. That's the crazy thing. Tyler Hero is a bench player, or he was up until this year. And yeah, that's the thing I'm going to say over and over again. The numbers seem crazy, but don't get them wrapped up into our real world numbers that we deal with on the level that we live in life. These numbers are crazy and they're ridiculous and they're kind of an insult in some ways to everyday life. But also, we shouldn't look at it this way. This is monopoly money. We don't even know that money. I can't be a hater and say, oh, I don't want him to make that money because I don't think he's good enough. I think he's good enough, and he made it that far. Yeah, pay him as much as you can, and he wants to, and all that stuff. I'm not a hater on that. Some people get so mad that NBA players make so much money. And I'm like, no, man, they do so hard work. It's so hard to become who they are. There's such a small percentage of people that ever become NBA players. You know, I have no problem with how they're compensated. Some people see those amounts of money like, what? They just play a game for sport, for their job, and like, yeah, but you don't understand how much work, how much time, how much sacrifice, how much they had to do to get to that point. And that's part of the payoff is from all that time already before. And there's no guarantees. That's the even crazier thing. They went down that route of dedicating themselves to trying to play in the NBA, and there was no guarantee to. And they put all that in ahead of time, and now they're getting paid off for it now. So you can't be hating about that. That's what I'm saying. Raymond Jacobs saying Pascal's getting 140 million and his stats be slipping. I know because he's on my fantasy. His stats have only been slipping in the last couple games. I know it's up to the minute, Raymond Jacob. Yeah, his stats have looked a little bad. And some people have been saying, who was it? Orrin Weisfeld or somebody wrote an article on Pascal not getting tired and having a crazy amount of stamina. And then all of a sudden now he starts to look tired after he wrote the article, and he's like lamenting it on Twitter. He's like, I write an article about how Pascal never gets tired, and now he looks tired in the last couple games. And it's true. Pascal's output and some of the things that are happening with him in the last couple of games has been lower, and he has looked a little bit more worn out. Like the burdens on him recently have been very heavy, and he's worn them very well and played very, very well through them. But maybe he's showing a bit of the signs of fatigue. And we know why, because they're all getting overplayed, the starters. And that's a big part of it. So, Nick, look at how tired Pascal is. Oh, my gosh. Give him a break. Give some more minutes to Chris, Cam, Precious, Wancho, Jeff Dowtin Jr. Yeah, and maybe Joe Weiskamp. Yeah, let's see that out there. I love to see that. All right, let's see. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Good morning to Cool Cat, one of the best Raptor Freaks around. I wonder if you're going to the game today. You know, Stevie Roots and I were talking about going to the game today, but we're not going to go. He's actually going to come over and watch the game with me, though, which is good because that is usually a good thing when I'm watching the game with someone else. When the Phoenix game recently, I watched it with Adriana and we won. The Lakers game, I watched it with Naco the Nacho and we won. The Cleveland game, I watched it with my parents and we won. So it's like maybe I need to get connected to different people and watch games with people, and then we win games. I don't know. I'm willing to try anything. So Steve's coming over today to watch the game with me, and hopefully that will bring good vibes and good luck to the Raptors to win today. Because when I am not by myself, we seem to win, and that's maybe what I need to do is stop being such a shut in and by myself, and I need to go and meet people to go watch the game with them so that we win. I don't know. I'm trying anything I can. I'm going to go down that building this week. If they don't win one of these games, this one or the first Charlotte game, I'm going to go to the second Charlotte game, and I'm going to make sure they win that next one because I'm sick of this. If I have to come all the way down that building and be loud in that building myself, I will do it this week because they're about to go on that long road trip. And I think I need to go see them at least once before they take off and try and get help with my energy coming down there too. So who knows? Let's see. All right. Logical saying, okay, first, I talked about Fred VanVleet turning down the offer in the summer when it happened. My extension series covered this in the summer. This isn't recent. It's only being used by the masses at the moment. Yeah. Yeah. Mike knew about this is all stuff that's been out there all this whole time. It's just popping up right now. Fred does JJ Redick. There's a lot of like controversy around him. People are talking this and that. And now some people that want to use this as a factoid against him are shaping it. And they're like, that's part of why we're trying to clarify this whole thing right now is that none of this is new. And that also, they're going to slant it in a way that makes it sound like it's messed up and that Fred's greedy and stuff. Well, we want to make sure everybody knows the truth, that they're on the same page. This is very mutual between the team and him, and that this offer's just been sitting there. And it's not that he's rejected it. It's just it's still on the table, and he could decide to take it still. So there's a lot to it, and Mike has covered it in the past. And this is not new news. It's just it's new to the masses because it's being put on blast by certain people right now. So yeah, thank you, Mike, for clarifying that. And yeah, check out Logical Raptors Fanatic stuff. He put out a new clip yesterday on the Spanish connection with the Spanish national team and the Raptors, talking a lot about Sergio and Marc Gasol, Jose Calderon. Yeah, really good stuff, Mike. I enjoyed watching that yesterday. I did catch it on the day it dropped this time. I had some time yesterday, and I enjoyed watching Logical Raptors Fanatic. Follow him on YouTube. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. All right, let's see. Monique is here. Good to see Raptors super fan Monique Lawrence. Just a bona fide Raptor freak, just the best. Let's see. Good morning, everyone, and happy game day. Let's come out on the winning side. That's right. It's all about the W's today. When I say just win, baby, I mean it. And I mean it like it could be so ugly, like that Milwaukee game, just win it at the end of it. It could be so ugly. It could be so beautiful. It could be so up and down. It could be so crazy. It could be so weird. Just win it. I don't give a shit if the stats look so crazy in a certain way or we can't score for like 8 minutes of the game. Just win the damn game is what I'm saying today, Raptors. You go out there and win, get the W. That's all we care about today. I don't care about anything else. Just get that W today. We need it so bad. Y'all need it so bad. Oh my gosh, y'all need it so bad. I'm a fun guy saying I'm really curious on what our energy will be on an early game that will determine this game. Yeah, I mean, I guess in a way. I mean, it's kind of like one of these games where Portland's finishing up a West Coast road trip, I believe, and they're going to want to fly back out and get back to the other side of the country. Is what's going on because they got to play Orlando on Tuesday in Portland, so that's why the game's kind of earlier in the day. Is because they probably got to get out and get on a plane and change time zones, and they want to get back over to the West Coast because they're leaving the East Coast after this game against us. So yeah, that's the true thing. Like the afternoon game is very interesting. We've historically had trouble struggling to get going on an afternoon game with different rosters in past years. I hope that's not the case today. I hope these guys are super motivated and they're just kind of biting at the chomp to come back out there and change the narrative of what's going on with the team. That they need to go out there and just have a chance to kick some ass, and that they just can't wait to get another chance to get out there and change things from L's to W's. And I think this is a big factor, fun guy. I think you're right. The early game thing, they have to be prepared and ready right from the start. No crazy, weird easing into the game, Scotty. Come out there and be ready right away and come right at them. Let's see. Mike saying, yeah, I got your emails. Clearly, it's you. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Confirm. My bad about confirming ideas. Speak for me. Okay. Yeah. I don't understand all that stuff you're talking about. I don't have people coming after me online. At least I hope not. I don't want that. And that's why I was like, Mike, if you got any kind of weird shit going on where people are after you, I don't want to be involved. And I know that was part of what you were talking about. So okay, we'll keep that conversation. That is me. Yes, that you're emailing me. Yes, you can see I'm talking about it. So yes, it's not any weird situation where you're getting fished or anything. Nako the Nacho saying Fred's more valuable than when we traded Kyle. Yeah, that's definitely true, Gerald. And the reason why is because he has more years on the plate going forward. And in some ways, he's a better player than Kyle. I know people may be like, that's crazy. He can't be better than the GROAT. He can't be better than Kyle. Well, he is in some ways. He's a better defender than Kyle, I would say. In some ways, he's a better defender than Kyle. And maybe Kyle's a little bit more edgy and more bulldog than Fred in some ways. But there's some stuff that Fred does that's more even keeled and better for a team than Kyle does. Kyle does some wild shit, and Fred's a little more reined in. So there's a couple of different differences there. And I think Nako's exactly right. Fred is more valuable than when we traded Kyle. So if you think about what we got for Kyle, well, we could do pretty good for Fred if we are going to trade him. But I don't know. I still am really big on this idea of frustrating the hell out of all the crazy fans that are really pissed off and want changes and just don't do anything, Bobby. Just sit and keep going and develop through this and be badasses and make the team better without trading anyone. I really want to see this happen just because heads will explode. People will be like, whoa, the Raptors aren't trading anyone. I'm pissed. And then boom, we figure it out and we get going and it's all good. And I just really want that to be the outcome of what happens instead of like everybody saying, oh, make a trade. And then they get somebody come in and it doesn't help. And we get even worse because we lost some of the continuity that we had already before. It's going to be very interesting to see what we do. Jimmy Pope is saying the Fred I know deserves that money, but if he keeps up this inconsistent play, maybe not. Yeah. I don't know. It's so tough to say. And once again, this isn't my forte. I'm not going to quibble over a couple of dollars or like a figure for what guys are worth. I just don't care about that. Like some people get really upset and be like, he's not worth 125 million. I'd pay him 120 million, but I wouldn't pay him 125 million. It's like, I don't give a shit. Pay him whatever they're going to pay him and whatever they can pay him. That kind of stuff doesn't matter to me. But I think that the folly of him not taking the deal at the beginning of the year is that his number may be less at the end of the year. That's the thing. And they can justify it because he has had a bad year. So in some ways, it would have been maybe smart for him to lock in at the beginning of the year at that number right away or do it now because he may be losing money because he does look pretty bad this year. Skater Dylan is here. All right, we got Boston Nation in the house. Let's see what Boston fans are saying today. Good morning, Lex. Let's hope everyone is getting ready for Wemby up there. We haven't seen you in a little bit, Dylan, but good to see you back. I hope you had a good holidays. Happy New Year. I don't know what's going on with us. I'm taking it day by day, hour by hour. It really is. I'm just going to react to whatever happens in reality. And that's Joe Weiskamp right now. And we are still trying to win. There's no selling and no buying on the trade market. There's no, tank for Wemby going on. Not at least as far as I know. And we'll see what happens. Maybe we will still make some noise in some sort of way before the end of the season because we figure it out. But I'm not holding my breath. Let's see. Boston Sports is here. Hey, freaks. Happy Sunday. I was looking at the stats and was surprised to see OG leading the league in steals. Yeah. He's been very good on steals this year. It was really at the beginning of the season. He was getting like 6 or 7 steals a game, and his average was super high from that. And now since he's always getting around 2 or 3s. But yeah, this man is stealing the ball. Just like this is what I say with OG when I'm watching the game. OG, that's your ball. They're just borrowing it. Go get it whenever you want. Just go get it back. And that's what he does. He just goes and gets it back from them whenever he wants. He just says, this is my ball. Why do you have the ball all of a sudden, Portland Trailblazers? Okay, let me have it. And he takes it, and then he's gone. He's been doing that. He had like 4 really great steals in the last game we played. So that's the thing. He's getting 4 steals is about average for him. Well, he's averaging like 2 to 3 steals a game. That's why is because like we expect like 3 or 4 steals from every single game. And then on some games, he'll get like 6 or 7. So that's why his average is so high. Last year was Gary. Gary Trent was our guy who was in the leaders of steals last year, but this year is definitely OG. And this is feeding the fire of him possibly being a defensive player of the year candidate. Of course, we're not going to win anything if we're not a winning team. They will ignore us and say we're irrelevant if we have a losing record. So I don't expect us to win any awards if we are going to be below 500 at the end of the year. And that sucks. Now, if they could give OG a nod to like one of the defensive teams, I would love that. I think he really is past due deserving some sort of defensive award, at least being on an all defensive team, because he should have been probably on one already in the last couple of years. So, yeah, he's fantastic, and we appreciate him being at the top of the steals list in the NBA. Okay, Isaac Campbell is bringing up David Bowie again. So let's see if I'm going to sing some. We don't need no Sam Bowie Gamble. Thank you, but happy birthday, David Bowie. It's David Bowie's birthday today. Oh, man, that's awesome. Let me see if I can think of a good David Bowie song to sing right now. I don't even want to sing one that's necessarily like one of his very main known ones that everybody knows, like Life on Mars or something like that. Let me sing this one. I'll say, I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. I'm afraid of the helpers. I'm afraid of Americans. I love David Bowie. Happy birthday, David Bowie, the interstellar superstar who's still lording and looking over us all up in the stars. And his music is magic, and it lives in our hearts and in our ears still to this day. Yes, David Bowie, you go. And thank you, Isaac Campbell. Raptors superfan Monique Lawrence is saying, Fred wasn't born yesterday. The comments, man. Yeah, Fred is, oh man, this is such a weird position for him to be. Because he's older, he's more mature. You know, a younger Fred may have taken all this a lot harder, but he is a badass. He's like, I don't give a shit, y'all. I am a badass, and I'm going to take all this stuff that y'all are saying, and it's going to feed my fire. I'm like a locomotive, and you are the coal. Your stupid ass comments coming at me, talking about me. I take that coal and I shovel it into the fire, and it feeds the train going down the track. And that is how he's feeling about all the noise and all the negativity and all the people coming at him and talking shit about him. He is feeding his fire. That's right, Prodigy. That's right. You people like you just feed my fire. That's right. That's right. All right, let's keep going. Raymond Jacobs saying, I kind of want to experiment giving all Fred's minutes to Doughton. You know what? If Freddie's hurt, sit and let Jeff play the whole game. Why not? Let's do that. I mean, I'm crazy. I think Nick should be crazy right now. You should be delirious from losing, Nick. And be like, what should we do? Play Jeff instead of Fred? Okay, let's do it. Just try different crazy shit. Why not? We need to try things to try and change things. And I think playing the bench more minutes is very much a prerequisite to trying to change things for the better. And then, like, just go on discovery and try and figure out which one of these guys could be a level that you can accept to actually let into the rotation to play on the regular and take some of those crazy ass minutes from our starters. You know, Jeff could be a reliable rotation player that you could count on playing 5 to 10 minutes every single game. Why aren't you playing him? Cam Birch, why aren't you playing him? You know, these guys need to play too, and you need to stop running Pascal, Fred, OG, and Scotty to the ground. These men need some rest, and there ain't no reason to run them to the ground when we losing and we ain't going nowhere. At least the way it seems like it is right now. We can get going somewhere, then maybe you change the strategy. But for right now, maybe you need that spark from the bench is what I'm thinking about. I love that comment, Raymond Jacob, and I agree. Experiment, Nick. Get experimental, bro. Come on now. Logical saying, salute Cool Cat. I hope you didn't mind the shout out in my video this week. Keep on keeping on. Why would anybody get upset about being shouted out? You're showing respect and love to Cool Cat. And Cool Cat probably did appreciate it. Yeah, there ain't no problem with it. I always get a little tickled inside when I hear you mention me on your content, Mike. I'm like, oh, look at Mike shouting out the Raptorsfreak in the morning. And I appreciate it, Mike. And once again, y'all check out Logical Raptors Fanatics YouTube channel. It's a great channel for factual, actual Raptors content that will teach you about the team and trends. It's so good, so good. Cool Cat saying, still in the Caribbean, we'll be watching the game via NBA League Pass. I'll just enjoy the game and observe our performance. Yeah, I don't blame you for not coming back yet. But you know what? It has been more spring-like this week. It actually was very nice with the temperature this past week, but it got cold last night. It got a below freezing last night. But besides that, we were in like around 8 degrees 9 degrees like during the week. It was actually a very nice week. But yeah, I would stay down there till March, maybe. I wouldn't come back up here until March if I could do that. But yeah, okay, you'll be watching on League Pass. Fun guy saying, "Yeah, man, make sure you eat some jerk chicken and curry goat for demandum." Laughing my ass off. You know what? Listen, I will do this. Real Jerk is right around the corner. And, sometimes Stevie and I, when he comes over to watch the game, I'll get just some of them jerk wings from the Real Jerk. It's the location where Drake filmed that video with Rihanna. And so it's like, it's got some real strong Raptor vibes in it because Drake filmed a video in it. And so, yeah, I'll do that for good luck sometimes. So maybe you're right. I think I might need to be door dashing or going by the Real Jerk today and getting me some wings for the game today. And yeah, all right, good suggestion for some good luck. All right, Boston saying the invitation is still available. This is like Fred's contract. It's still available. It's just sitting on the table, Fred, if you want to sign. Well, Boston Sports has a contract for us to sign, and we will never sign it. It's if you want to come to Boston, you'll have to stay for a couple of days, but only because you will need one whole day of just doing a tour of all the banners. Oh my gosh, this is such a graceful, gracious host wants to come and have us come to Boston so he can show us all the banners. And then the tour will take all day. All right. Yeah. I'm not going up in them rafters. I can see them from the ground. I'll look up, I'll see them and say, okay, the tour's over. I'm out of here. That's enough. It'd be interesting to come to historic Boston Garden, like the old building, like from back in the day. There's so many interesting stories about that building. I know it's a different building now and it has our city's name on it. But as much as you know what, it would be kind of fun to come there and just kind of see the city. I've never been to Boston. I've never been to New York City either. But yeah, I've never been to Boston. I don't know if I'll ever make it there in my life. I'm not lying. I'm not gonna lie. I have no plans to go to Boston ever in my life. And for some reason, I don't really have any reason to want to go there. Closest I might get to coming to Boston is Springfield. And that's really just to go to the Hall of Fame. I would love to go to the NBA Hall of Fame, the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. And that may be the closest I will get to Boston. I'm telling you, I don't have any interest in seeing where Crispus Attucks and the Boston Massacre happened. I don't have any interest in seeing where the Boston Tea Party happened. I have no interest in Paul Revere, any of those old like American mythological, not mythological, but real things that happen, the history of it all. I learned about it because I went to school in the States, but really, I'm not interested in coming to your city. I'm sorry. I hope that doesn't hurt your feelings. But yeah, I have no interest in coming there. I have not ever been to Montreal either, though. So there's a lot of cities I've never been to. LA is another one. But yeah, just don't have any interest. I'm sorry. And I can see y'all's banners on TV. Summer Low saying, I just came out of the theater watching the first Slam Dunk. It's a Japanese anime. Have you heard of it? Cool. I gotta remember Summer's in a different time zone. I was like, you've been watching a movie this early in the morning in the theater. I'm like, what theater is open at this time? Oh, yeah, Summer's probably over in Hong Kong or something. Yeah, that's cool. I'm very interested in that. There's a lot of good documentaries and movies coming out these days, like The Grizzly Truth and The First Slam Dunk. I'll have to check that out. It's a Japanese anime. I've not heard of it. Very cool. Very cool. Fun guys. Yeah, damn, Boston Sports rubbing it in. I know. What is that? I mean, what is that? Tom Duke saying, at least you do it respectfully. That's right. At least he puts the word respectfully in. It's like, I thought he was going to say, you need to come and spend a day to come see all the historic parts of Boston. No, he's saying the banners. Oh my gosh. All right. At least it's all fun. Click saying the next 5 games to me will force us in a direction for the rest of the season. That's probably true. Really, we've been saying this already. Okay, this homestand is important for this road trip. These games are going to determine this. But it really does seem like this is like the easiest homestand for the rest of the season and that we need to do it now. If we don't, it's going to be so hard to like get going and a good inertia going up if we don't start it now. Because going out west at the end of this month is not going to be easy. Going to Phoenix, Golden State, those places at the end of the month, that's not going to be easy. Let's see. Mike saying, respect for the shout out, Lex. Early game could be a good change for us at the moment, something different. And I don't have people going at me like that, but the internet is crazy. I laugh out loud, Cal from DD Dive Vids. Okay, yeah, you were saying something about doxing, people doxing you or something like that. I'm like, Mike, people coming after you. Don't get them on me too. And so I was like, wondering why is he talking about doxing so much? I don't know. I didn't totally understand your emails, and because they were so weird, I did not want to respond to them. So I figured I'd just talk to you here. That's all. Let's see. Not just saying, sing Lazarus. Oh my gosh, Nako, really? You want the song from Jay and Silent Bob's "Goodbye Horses"? I heard enough for you. I don't know. That's Lazarus, right? There you go, little Lazarus. There you go. Goodbye horses. I'm a fun guy. Happy birthday, David. Even though for decades I found you overrated. Laugh out loud, David. David, which David? Which David? Who's David? David Robinson? No, it's not David Robinson's birthday. Trying to figure out. I forget whose birthday it is. Did we somebody say there's birthday today? David. Happy birthday to David. David who? I'm wondering who it is. David. David. Tell me, please. Tom Duke saying impression. Nurse introducing himself in pregame, about to sing Bowie for the team. Maybe heroes. Oh my gosh. You guys are getting me to do some crazy stuff today. I'm okay with it. We're delirious with losing. So I need to cheer us up. Okay. All right, guys, come on in. Come on, everybody, come on in. Listen, y'all. Oh yeah, it's David Bowie's birthday. Duh. Okay. Okay, guys, listen. I just wanted to tell you guys something about today's game here in Portland. I just wanted to tell you guys I believe in you. And I really think that you guys are all going to get out of it today. And we're going to do a really good job against the Trailblazers today. He said, in fact, we could be heroes just for one day. Yeah. I will be king. All right, stop. I can't stop laughing. It's so stupid. All right, there you go. Yeah, that's right. Of course, it's David, but you think he's overrated? Oh my gosh, no way, fun guy. This guy is amazing in all kinds of different ways. Style icon. He had such a hand in different things about the sound of music, as far as like changing it and perverting it and making things like, there's a lot to David Bowie that makes him important and special. And not only that, he had a very underrated acting career. He was in a lot of movies and he did a lot of acting and he did a lot of very interesting things. So, man, I can't get behind it and say he's overrated. In fact, I think he's underrated, honestly. He is an amazing man and I am a huge fan of his. All right, let's see. Monique saying Nick Nurse seemed very cheerful in his interview yesterday. It was very good to see. Yeah, they got to do that. In some ways, they're kind of like it's so painful. They got to be like, yeah, everything's okay. In fact, he said it. He said we have to double down on the positivity and just really force it right now. Even if we don't feel positive about things, we have to force the positivity in the situation that we're in right now. It's like Pascal has to smile. It has to be just like everything's fine. We just got to go about things. And it's interesting because Nick did talk about kind of what we talked about yesterday, that the guys are too in their heads in some ways and tightened up, and that's why they're missing the shots, that he wants them to loosen up. So part of loosening up is smiling, laughing, having a good time, keeping the vibes cool. And that is a big part of a strategy that I think they had this weekend. It's like, you know what? Things are bad. Just take a break and just feel a little loose and just come at it with a free flow. And maybe we'll be less tightened up and make more shots today. So I think that is part of the strategy in the way they ran their practice yesterday and the way they're feeling this weekend. Keep it light, loose, happy, smiley, even though it's dark and grim and scary. Yeah. And that's the way we'll get out of this. Double down on positivity is basically what Nick said. They're doubling down on positive. They have to be more positive than ever right now to combat the darkness. And I love it. He's exactly right. And that's the way it'll happen is they'll get out of it because they're just training themselves to be positive about it. And they will get out. Watch, they will. Logical saying, based on the second extension rule, there's a cap on the amount of money a team can give to a player on their second extension on the same contract. That's why Jaylen Brown will hit free agency to get the most money he can. Ah, interesting. We could be heroes just for one season. Not for just one season. We want this to be for a long time, Isaac Campbell. Come on now. Nako saying, I like the clam chowder in Boston. Yeah, clam chowder's not bad. In fact, you're talking about food. Nako Nacho. That makes me want to do the ref report. Yeah, let's do the ref report. Since he brought up clam chowder in Boston, let's talk about some food real quick. Our head ref tonight is Ben Taylor. Ben Taylor, I say when there's a last name named Taylor, it's usually pretty good for us. Now, Ben Taylor, we lost 2 games in a row this season where he's been reffing. He's been very nice to us in the past, but this season, I think he's turned on us. And he is not a very nice ref to us. His favorite TV show is The West Wing. He is from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, but he now lives in Orlando, Florida. His favorite musician is Brian McKnight. He likes that Field of Dreams movie with Kevin Costner. If you build it, they will come. His favorite book is Mitchell Rapp. His favorite meal is the cheeseburger and tater tots. Remember, we got to take this man to Sonic. He most like to visit Scotland, play at Augusta National, and his hidden talent is dancing. He is a Tennessee native, and he received his bachelor's degree in public relations from Middle Tennessee State University in 2009. And Ben Taylor, our record with him is 63% winning percentage, and that's pretty damn good. But it's not the highest percentage of all our refs today. And like I said, we lost the last 2 games he's ref this season, and the Trailblazers win 42% of the time. So 63% Raptors, 42% Trailblazers when it comes to Ben Taylor, our lead ref tonight. Our second ref is Natalie Sago. Natalie Sago. She is from Missouri. She's in her 6th season as a ref. She almost got away with it as her favorite TV show. She likes the movie Hardball. Her favorite musician is Pink. Let's get it started. No, that's not Pink. That's Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. That's her. Yeah, that's right. That's her. Her favorite book is Legacy and the Queen. Her favorite meal is pizza. She likes Instagram, and she wants to go to Fiji. And her talent is juggling. She's a good juggler. She has officiated 4 seasons in the NBA G League, 3 seasons in the WNBA, and now has been in the NBA for 6 seasons. She has a bachelor's degree in kindergarten to 12 physical education from the University of Missouri, and she has 2 mini Aussie doodles named Bogey and Divot. So Natalie Sago is our second ref. She's the one who hates Kyle Lowry. Her record was 500 for us at the beginning of the year, but we have lost 2 games since this season with her refereeing, and we now are 43% with her winning percentage, and the Trailblazers have a better winning percentage under her, 55%. So 48% winning percentage under Natalie Sago for the Raptors, 55% for the Trailblazers. Our third ref, these are all infamous refs, and it's crazy. The third ref is Evan Scott, y'all. So we're getting Evan Scott too. Nick Nurse's favorite person to bully. He is from South Korea. He now lives in Virginia. He's in his 5th season. His favorite TV show is Sports Center. His favorite movie is Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio. His favorite musician is Prince, and that's why I feel like him and Nick Nurse get along so well, is because they love that Purple Rain. Favorite book is Stalling for Time. He likes steak and asparagus. So we've got cheeseburger, tater tots, we got pizza, and we got steak and asparagus. These are the meals for our refs tonight. And his favorite app is FaceTime. And once again, Evan Scott came to the United States when he was 4 years old from South Korea, and he played rugby in university. He is actually a 3-sport athlete in high school, competing in baseball, basketball, and swimming. So there you go. That's Evan Scott, the third ref, and he is the best record for us out of the 3 refs. We have actually won a couple games this year when he's ref, and we win 2/3 of the time when he's reffing. 67% of our games we win, and meanwhile the Trailblazers win 43%. So 2 of the refs favor us, Ben Taylor and Evan Scott. Natalie Sago does not, but that is our ref crew: Ben Taylor, Natalie Sago, and Evan Scott. There's your referee crew check for the Portland Trailblazers game today at 3:30. There you go. Bam, 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 bam. All right, let's see. Tom Duke saying not overrated. Nice one, Lex. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not with that. David Bowie needs all the accolades and all the kinds of ways. Even that last album he made before he died, like Dark Star or Black Star, it was amazing. Oh my gosh, he was so good right up until he died. He did not make a bad album, if you ask me. Tin Machine, all that stuff he did. What are you talking about? His 80s era? Oh my gosh. Dancing in the streets, dancing into Chicago. All I need is music, sweet music. There'll be music everywhere. Good Eye is saying, did you read Josh Lewenberg's article about Fred? No, I didn't, but I did see his little rat trap that he put up on Twitter for people to come in there and take the bait, and he could clamp right down. No, I didn't read it. I don't read the mainstream stuff. I don't read TSN. I don't read Sportsnet, Michael Grange, and Lewenberg. I see them write articles about Scotty and things like that, and I could go read them, but I don't. I just like to find my information on my own by looking at them and seeing what they're saying. But no, I didn't read it, just to be honest. But I like what Josh is saying on Twitter. I didn't read the article, but I read the conversation on Twitter, like what people are saying to him about what he's saying. And I think he's right. Listen, the team is failing Fred to a degree. It's not Fred's failing the team. The team is failing Fred to a degree. And I think that, that's part of the problem, is that the bench is not playing good enough. Nick is not coaching them well enough to get the right results from the bench. And that in some ways the starters are suffering for it. And that in a lot of ways, Fred is doing all the normal stuff that he would do. It's just that he hasn't have enough help around him to buoy them up to get to the next level. But he's doing all the normal stuff that he should be doing, but it's not enough. So it really is a collective effort, like a whole bunch of different things all at once are going wrong. So, yeah, Tom Duke is saying Josh is getting the most out of Fred VanVleet drama, stoking the flames. Guess that's his job. Well, he wants clicks. TSN wants him to get traffic. I don't think what he's doing is that wrong. I think that if he's right, like, he needs to make an argument for Fred in his stand. And I think that's good. I like him standing up for the player and not necessarily denigrating him and like putting him down. He's making evidence for good things for Fred. And if he was doing the opposite, I'd be mad at him and I'd be coming at him. But right now he's fighting the good fight. So I have no problem with Josh Lewenberg right now. Let's see. Name was saying signing a deal with Boston is like signing a pact with the devil. Yeah, I don't know. That is the last team, as I've said, that I will come and join their fan nation after the Raptors. And I am not ever going to leave the Raptors. So I don't think that there's any much chance that I'll ever be a Boston Celtics fan. I am sorry. That's just how it is. Logical saying AD hit free agency on the Lakers to get more money too. It's actually very standard. It happens a lot where players turn down the second extension offer to get a higher one in free agency from no limit on the amount then. Yeah, part of it is that they want to see how the cap changes and if they can increase the money a little bit because of the change. And, also there's there's all kinds of different reasons. But it is normal for people to reject extensions and go into free agency. This is very normal. We've seen it happen time and time again, every year. Boston Sports saying, curious, do you go on other Raptor live stream channels? And if so, who? In the past, before I started doing this channel, I would go on a lot of different places before. But because this is such a heavy workload and I don't want to copycat anybody, I don't anymore. I used to like to watch Luca Rosano. A lot of times I really enjoyed his stuff during the game. I'd watch his live stream during the game and listen to him ramble. And in fact, I was trying to tell him, you need me to come in there and be your color guy. You can be play-by-play, call the game, and just let me fill in the spots where you're like silent, because he would watch the game and it would be like these wide silent periods where he's just kind of watching. And I could just be sitting there bullshitting out my mouth context about what's happening in the game. So I had made that offer to him. I was like, you want a color guy? You could be play-by-play and we'll do the live stream of the game. I'll do that with Luca. But I haven't heard from him. He did message me once and say he really liked what I'm doing on this channel. So he does know I exist and he has seen my stuff. But he's not a frequent person. And then the Raptors Digest kids, I love them. I don't look at their stuff anymore, but I think they're fantastic. There's other people like Talking Raptors is a really, really good podcast. I think this may be the best podcast out there about the Raptors. Confederacy Dunks is a very close second right behind it. There's other people like Skip and the King. I hate Skip, but the King's awesome. To the point, I've watched them at times, and they're very much a part of my history with this channel and stuff. Skip and the King, shout out to y'all. Let me think. I mean, I like Chev. I think Chev is fantastic. I used to watch him religiously before I started this channel. In fact, he's a big inspiration for why I started this channel. Chris's Sports Corner, another great one. I mean, I could go down the list. I really enjoyed the 3 OGs podcast with Muggsy Bogues, Charles Oakley, and Earl Curitan when they were making that show. They're not making that show anymore. I like the new CJ Miles podcast, Hustle Play with Chris Boucher. There's a lot of player podcasts that I really do enjoy also. JJ Redick's is great too. But yeah, I don't really go on other lives. I don't know how many people are actually doing live streams though. I know Luca was doing them. I do them. Mike did one the other night. But not many people in Raptors Nation do a lot of live streams like I do, and that may be like when the difference is. They do that Raptors Tonight and stuff, and that's live, or Raptors Today. But yeah, that's in general the people that are kind of in my sphere of like looking at stuff. Locked On Raptors, not bad too. Sean Woodley, he's not bad. There's good stuff out there. A lot of the Raptors Republic stuff isn't bad either. A lot of it's behind a paywall at this point. What's her name? Buckets and Tea. That's a really good podcast, also from a female perspective. Catherine Naker's really good. Yeah, there's a lot of good Raptors content makers out there, and I just have my own little weird niche in it all. And so it's not for everyone. I realize that, but some people really, really enjoy it, and that's the thing that matters to me. Fun guy saying, why can't we have famous stuff like Philly cheesesteak or Boston clam chowder? Haha. Well, what would that be for Toronto? Like, what would that be? Would it be the Jamaican patty? I think it might be. Let's not sell ourselves short. I think the Toronto Jamaican patty from Warden Station is very much a very iconic piece of food that maybe should be celebrated, much like the Philly cheesesteak, much like the Boston clam chowder. Let's start getting this on the map. The Toronto patty. The patty is such there's a documentary about the patty war here in Toronto, first of all. And then the Jamaican culture of Toronto is ensconced with the patty. And that the patty is something that has bridged all cultures and all nationalities, that people love getting those patties out in the Scarborough subway stations. And it doesn't matter where you're from. You go and eat those patties because you like them. So I would argue that our patties are our city food. Can we make this the official Toronto food, like the Philly cheesesteak or the clam chowder for Boston? I think we can. Toronto patties. There you go, baby. Right there. Bam. Yes. Tom Duke saying he's got the food. All right, here's the food for the refs. He's got a burger and a fortune cookie. He's giving a fortune cookie to Ben Taylor. That's interesting. I think that's tater tots because he can't find tater tots. He puts a fortune cookie there. He's got the pizza for Natalie. That's great. There's the steak, and he doesn't have asparagus, so he's going to give him a carrot, a broccoli, and it looks like some chard or bok choy or maybe a lettuce or something. Asparagus unavailable is what he's saying. Okay, and cake and syrup provided by Jimmy Pope. And there's the cakes. Whoa, those are bundt cakes, man. Wow, you got bundt cakes and a birthday cake and cupcakes. And then he's got the 100% Canadian maple syrup in the big, huge oil can too. Wow, Tom's got the whole spread for them. He's got what they want to eat, and he's got the dessert. Hopefully they'll find favor with the Raptors for that. Tom Duke saying, fun guy, cake and syrup is getting popular. Everybody's all about the cake and syrup now. We're making trends happen. Let me see that trending on Twitter. You'll know where it started, cake and syrup. Kenny's saying, my problem with Fred is the reason he gave us for his slump. I understand health, but don't say you touch the ball less because the stats don't support it. Yeah, I mean, I did. That was the part I had a problem with too, Kenny. Honestly, is that like Fred? Come on, don't make that excuse. I can understand your shooting's off because you've had an injury and it kind of made you had to recalibrate and get your shot to find back. In fact, that may be just enough of an excuse. You don't need to go into like how the team is being changed, because in a way that does show you have a silent gripe about being not the same role you were last year. And that's the part that's been bugging me about the interview with JJ Redick. I think Kenny's nailed it on the head. And since he's saying it exactly right here, I'll go ahead and go into it too and say I'm with him. That's not a valid excuse. Look, you know that you're missing shots, and that is the biggest problem right now. Now, I can understand it's because you have tweaked your back or you're having a problem with an ankle or something like that, and that may be why you're a little off. But don't start blaming because they wanted to change your role this year. Because listen, if you're that kind of guy who can shape and mold into any role in the team like you say you are, you should just take that role and accept it and make the best of it and not blame it. I know that it's been chaotic and it's frustrating. And in some ways you are probably maybe telling Nick, if we just did it the way we did it last year, everything would be fine. And that may be part of the frustration. I think in some ways he's relenting to you because he understands that that is kind of true. And that we have seen you more being played with the ball in the last couple of games. So, yeah, I'm with you, Kenny. I don't want him to make too many excuses, but you can make a valid excuse about the injuries. And then maybe there's personal distractions. You've made that excuse also. behind the scenes. But I don't want to hear you making excuses about like not getting more enough opportunities, because you're getting those fucking opportunities. And in fact, that's kind of a slap in the face, considering a lot of the guys on the team wish they got more opportunities and you're still getting them. So yeah, I'm with Kenny on this 100%. And he did it in the right way for me to come out and say what I did have a problem with, what he was saying to JJ Redick. That was the part I didn't like. It's like, don't make that excuse about changing your role, because you were going to have to do that anyway. And in some ways that shows that you're failing to change your role in an effective way to what we need you to do. And that you said you can do whatever we want you to do. Well, do it. Let's see. Monique's saying happy early birthday to Chris. Awesome. That's right. It's Chris Boucher's birthday this week. Do you ever to the epilepsy event in the past, et cetera, et cetera? Have I gone to it? I've done a few things with Adriana in Epilepsy Toronto. I've gone to a yoga class. I've gone to a couple of different functions. I've been there for some of her social groups when she's just hanging out online during the pandemic. But I haven't been that involved in Epilepsy Toronto. But I very fully encourage everyone to support and either donate your time or energy or money to Epilepsy Toronto, because it's very helpful for people that deal with epilepsy. And it's just such a great resource in this city. I'm so happy that this network is there to have support for people like Adriana in different ways. It's just such a fantastic thing. And I really hope that they don't suffer for Tristan Thompson's mother passing recently. She was a huge part of helping organize and do different things within Epilepsy Toronto. And I hope that her leadership void isn't felt too badly, and that they can, help keep things going in a good direction without her, because she was a huge cog in helping everything in that association. And that's one of the biggest things that I find so sad about her passing last week, is that I hope that this doesn't hurt epilepsy here in Toronto, the association. So yeah, but I haven't gone to any events. In some ways, I'm not. I don't even want to talk about it here. There were some issues, but I am fully supportive of that association and people, donating giving to their time or money or whatever to them, because it is a very good cause. Trust me. Nako, excuse me, Nako the Nacho. I like Will Liu a little more when he was with Yahoo. Raptors Republic is pretty great. Raptors Digest is pretty great. Chris Boucher is pretty entertaining podcaster. Chris Boucher is the best one. In fact, Hustle Play is my favorite, like Raptors related content out of anything at this point. It used to be Talking Raptors. Talking Raptors was so good, and it still is. But Chris Boucher is just, it's a Raptor, and he's being so real, and it's just such a cool format, and just how his personality is just really awesome. So Will Liu, he's changed. In some ways, he's gotten big time, and he's kind of changed in bad ways. I don't necessarily like it. He's kind of gotten a little cocky. Let's just put it that way, now that he's on Sportsnet and stuff. But back in the day, man, when he was just Raptors Republic, he wasn't making no money. He was so good. And in some ways, Will Liu, what are you doing, man? Kind of get out of your head and get back to the basics and just be kind of more grounded in some ways. We know you're big time now. But, you'd be more common man in some ways. I know that you're getting a little bit up there in the stratosphere, but come down to earth a little bit. And Nako, listen, you need to come and watch another game with me, or we'll go and meet somewhere or something, or just go to the game. I really think that, the more I hang out and watch games with people, we got to do this. So, Gerald, let's hang out, either go to the game or come back over and watch another game with me, because we need to win games. And I'm finding that when I have a friend or somebody to watch a game with, we do better. The percentages are higher. I'll do whatever it takes. So we'll figure it out, Gerald. I'll be in contact with you soon, and we'll have to get together soon. Nameless saying, has the Raptors ever had the first overall pick? Yes, we have. That was Andrea Bargnani, 2007, I believe. We had the first pick in the draft. We actually won the first pick in the draft the year Allen Iverson was drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers. But the rules of expansion teams at that time did not allow for either the Vancouver Grizzlies or the Toronto Raptors to get that number one pick. So we would have drafted Allen Iverson if we had been allowed to, because we had the first pick the year he was drafted by Philly. But the rules said we couldn't draft any sooner than third. And then we took Marcus Camby instead. So, we've had the first pick officially once, but actually twice, just so you know. All right. Mike is saying, good eye. That's why keeping the same energy with all players and being fair is key, so we can be on point with what we have and not a biased, hyped versions of players. It's an issue with the click grabbing. Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of power perception and like content, and people want to put stuff out just to get clicks. And like I said, the phenomena is people get angry. They want to go and tell somebody off. So somebody will make the most outrageous title to their content just to get people enticed to come and engage with it. They'll see something and say, "Oh, this makes me mad. Why are they saying this about this Raptor player?" And then you come in and you start, and then boom, they've done what they wanted to do. They wanted engagement, they wanted clicks, they wanted comments, they wanted traffic. And you help them by doing that. So don't take the bait. If you can understand that what they're putting the premise and what they're saying in the title, don't even click it. It's like, oh, this just sounds like total bullshit and clickbait. And that's a lot of what this is. And Mike's saying right now, Jimmy's saying same thing with me. Only thing I didn't like hearing from Fred is that in that interview, hopefully that syrup I'm giving helps us with win. Laugh my ass off. Yeah, I hope so too. That there was another thing that he said too. Like he understands that, like, look, and the co-host JJ Redick's co-host said, I'm not picking Pascal Siakam to be on the All-Star team because first of all, two things. And one of them was y'all aren't winning and you need to win more to get the chance. And then the second was, I don't know if he's going to be on y'all's team by the time the All-Star break. When he said that, I was like, this motherfucker is flippantly just saying to Fred that his best friend on the team may not be on the team very soon. And it hurts. It's painful. When you say shit like that to players, it's like, don't be flippant about it. It's kind of pissed at JJ's little co-host. It's like, what do you mean Pascal won't be on the Raptors by the All-Star game? That's fucked up. And you just said that to the captain, Freddie Van Vliet. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But Fred, he didn't even blink when he said that. And he realizes that that's the damn truth. And that's scary. And then if you listen at the very end of the podcast to what Fred says, that is sad because he says, once again, he's acknowledging that this is a business and that he knows that any one of those guys, any of his teammates or himself can be packaged up and traded to another team because of what's going on right now. I hate hearing that. I hate hearing that so much. And what he said at the very end, I wanted to block it out. You go back and watch the JJ Redick podcast and listen to the very last thing that Fred said. And I was like, oh, I don't like hearing this. I don't like hearing it. Nako saying, nameless, yes, we drafted Banyani in that same draft. Kyle Lowry went 30th. Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Good eye saying, I was talking about mainstream media. Okay. About mainstream media, who do I listen to? Well, I mean, I pay attention to all the main like reporters for the Raptors. As far as I have to pay attention to Michael Grange, even though I hate him. Josh Lewenberg, I like the guy. I think he's the best for just getting the straight up facts, no bullshit. And sometimes he gets a little tabloid, but not often. Blake Murphy's pretty good when he's not talking about AEW. He's fantastic. He's very covering all sports in Toronto, though. He's all over the Argos and the Blue Jays and the Leafs too. But I suss that all out and get a little bit of he's good for breaking news stuff. Let's see. Orrin Weisfeld is a superstar on the rise as far as in the Raptors media scrum. Aaron Rose has also been very good recently. He was tabloid before, but I think he's heard our criticisms and he's coming at it a little bit more a positive way with how he's doing his stuff. So I like those two guys. They're the youngsters. Samson Folk was in the same group, and he may be the best of them all as far as coming up in his astuteness and just really knowing basketball and stuff. I like the Raptors tonight and the Raptors today guys. Like Randy Urban's kind of a goofy guy, but those guys are really good. I watched the one from the other night where Alvin was really good in one of the last Raptor tonight. He's just been on fire lately. And he's like really keeping it real. And he really does know the most about things in the league. And so they were talking about nicknames. That's what they were doing. They were talking about nicknames. He's talking about how he became A Boogie. And it's always A Boogie. And you can't be R Boogie. R Boogie doesn't work. No S Boogie. And then they started talking about like different people's nicknames. And Sherm's nickname was Sky Guy. And they were like trying to talk about him being Sky Guy. That was all interesting content. I like them. I hate whatchamacallit, the old ass guy that's on the radio here, Bob McCowan. I fucking hate that guy so much. He's the worst. Like, I highly do not recommend Bob McCowan. He does not know basketball at all. You should not listen to him if you're a Raptors fan. If you're a Leafs fan, go ahead and go listen to him. But fuck him for his basketball coverage. It's absolute worst. He does not know what he's talking about. And he just shouldn't even do the subject of the NBA or Raptors on his show, honestly. Let me think. Who else is out there? Lindsey Dunn's fantastic for City TV. There's other little writers here, Katie Heindel. Uh, I'm trying to think of all the different names. But yeah, I mean, as far as on the state side, I mean, y'all don't really cover us down there. There are certain people that are friendly towards the Raptors on that side of the border, like JJ Redick. Kendrick Perkins historically has been nice to us. But there's a lot of people that are just haters down there too, like Richard Jefferson and Jalen Rose. Fuck them. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, Good Eye. But those are the kind of the people that I like around the league, at least up here. And down there, there's not a lot of people I talk about because there's not a lot of people covering us down there. Nameless saying, that's right, Nako. How could I forget? The only drafted Paisano in NBA history. That's not the only drafted. There's been a lot of Italian players in the league over the years. A lot of Italians, but he's probably the highest drafted Italian guy. Fun guy saying, wait, it was Masai. Was it Masai that drafted Bargnani? No, it was Coloco. Not Coloco, Colangelo. Why did I say Coloco? Colangelo drafted him because that changed my perspective, credibility towards Masai for sure. No, he didn't draft him. It was the guy before him. Don't worry. Masai did not draft Andrea Bargnani. Don't worry. He did not. You know what? Listen, let me address something about Masai Ujiri recently. People are saying that Masai Ujiri he's been whiffing with his development and his picks and stuff. That's bullshit. That is so bullshit. Everybody who thinks that he's been whiffing since the championship and like letting go of Mark and Serge, you're crazy. This man is hitting home runs still, and y'all just don't understand it because they're not coming to fruition yet. You don't think Scottie Barnes is a home run? You don't think Christian Coloco is a home run? You don't think some of these free agency acquisitions recently, some of them are actually been really good, like Thad Young? I don't understand that. Why do people think that the front office of the Raptors has been like not doing well recently? They're doing fantastic. And I don't understand why y'all think that. Oh, it's because the team's not performing. Well, I don't think that's exactly totally the problem. Sure, we could have a better bench, a little bit more talent on our bench. But I think considering everything, they've done a very good job. Getting Coloco was a really good fit. Scottie Barnes is a home run. I'm sorry. No matter how you slice it, Scottie Barnes is a home run. So yeah, everybody who's saying that Masai and Bobby have not been like doing well since the championship, you're idiots. And I know Eric Kareen's one of these people right now pushing this on Twitter. You're an idiot. They've been doing fantastic. And some of it is that like these are plants you have to plant the seed in. And you don't see how good they are until they grow up out of the ground. And then you can visually see the plant out of the ground. And that's like Coloco right there is a seed in the ground. You can't see what he's going to become yet. So how can you say that the front office has failed over the last 4 years, no matter what? That is actually very, very wrong. And, maybe they're navigating a very difficult terrain in all kinds of different ways. And maybe they're making concessions in some areas, a center, and doing what they can otherwise. It's like you punt a category sometimes to be better in everything else. And it does seem like it's been the center. And maybe people look at that. That's a big fail. Well, it's worked to a degree in some ways. And maybe they are starting to wave the white flag on it. And they are going to get some more centers like Coloco around. So, all right, let's keep going. And we will get to more of our preview as far as like the real mascot matchup, stuff like that. Yeah, Camby. Yeah, Camby was drafted instead of Iverson that year. G saying just hopped on. Can see we touched on his contract. Apparently, it was a mutual decision for him to not sign the extension. Yeah, he in some ways he wants to get some more money, and Masai and Bobby may be like, yeah, we can pay you more money if you play well this year. At that point, I think everything that's happening with them is very mutual and understood, and it's worked out in a way that it's up face to face and no backstabbing, no fucked up weird shit. Fred's talking to them how he wants to do things, and they're talking to him about how they want to do things, and they're meeting in the middle, and this is where we're at. That's just how it is. Let's see. Mike saying, gee, salute. I hope you didn't mind the shout out in my video. It's been talked on. Old stuff being used to stir the pot at the moment. I even talked about it this summer. And Mo, he mentioned checking it out. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. It's good stuff. Yeah, Mike's doing shout outs. So y'all check out his content. He's probably shouted you out. Lolita is here. Good to see Raptorsfreak Lolita. I really believe that we only need a center and that the Raptors will take off. Yeah, can we wait for Christian? Can we wait for him to figure it out in like the next 2-3 years, hopefully? Or do we need to just get somebody who's already a little ahead and comes ready? That may be the smart. If we're going to make a trade, that may be the smart thing to do is get Jakob Poeltl to come back. And then, boom, we're all right. We're good. I'm a fun guy saying Pensair. Get that fine jar. Where is it? Says Scotty Barnes has more basketball IQ than Alvin Williams in all media. Says Scotty is such a genius. Laughing my ass off. Okay. I am going to defend Pensair to a little bit of a degree here, and not in the way you think. Pensair, you're an idiot. First of all, Alvin knows more about basketball because he went through more than Scotty has. And Scotty may be, all right, this is where I think he's trying to say, but he's failing at saying it in the effective way. I think what Pensair means, and I don't want to say his name anymore. So I'm just saying, I think this idiot means is that he thinks that Scotty has more innate basketball IQ in his body and naturally. And that in some ways may be true. That like it's a split second thing. It's not necessarily a cognitive like function, like thinking thing. It's more like in the instinct thing that maybe Scotty has a higher IQ instinctually basketball wise than Alvin Williams. Now he's just saying it in a very poorly worded way. That Alvin Williams has a better basketball IQ because he was a point guard. He had way more experience. He got further in the playoffs. He has a longer career than Scotty has so far. So that is true. Alvin has way higher basketball IQ as far as knowledge, skills, and knowing what to do from experience. Now, Scotty may have a higher basketball IQ when it comes to instinct and being naturally good at doing things in the moment because his instinct has a higher IQ in some ways. That is probably the distinction he's trying to make, the idiot, but he isn't making it very clear. And that's what I'll say about the situation. I agree with that Scotty has a very high instinctual IQ, but he does not have the knowledge or the experience IQ that matches Alvin or any of these other pros or whatever he said. This fucking crazy, all the media. He's crazy. That idiot is crazy. He just needs to word his arguments a little better. And I'd agree with him with this, that Scotty has a better instinctual IQ just in the moment and in the very quick moment of doing things. Yeah. And part of it's because his body is more adaptable to do more talented things than Alvin's was at that time. Alvin is not the athlete that Scotty is. And in some ways, because Scotty has such a great athletic body of a combination of skill and size and strength and speed, that he has the instinctual IQ, and it's maybe not even a mental IQ. It's a physical body memory IQ that instinct, it may be higher in that way. So in some ways, I do not agree with idiot, but I do also agree with him. And I'll make the distinction that he's trying to make. And I know that that's what he means, but he's not being very clear about it. And that's why he sounds so stupid. All right. I hope that cleared it up. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, I think trade fever talk is affecting Pascal and OG's recent games as well. Both are highly coveted by teams. I hope we don't change our core too much. I am with you. I don't want to change anybody. If we can get away without making any trades and just get out of the mud somehow, some way, I'm all about that. I think it really is fatigue with these guys. I think that they're just tired. I don't think OG's doing Pascal for sure, but OG's doing about what he would be doing anyway. And I don't think that it's anything with him, but it is definitely with Pascal, fatigue. But OG's kind of like this. This is the way OG's always played. Like he'll get like 15 points and do all the defensive stuff and all kinds of other stuff, but he never really steps up and gets a lot of 20-point games all the time. This is normal OG. But as far as Pascal, he's definitely like tired and not playing as much. And plus, like you have very much pointed this out. He's getting quadruple covered and triple covered. And that's a big part of why he's so tired. And he's having such a hard time scoring. They're doing the Giannis wall to him, just like we were saying the last couple of days. And you've been a big proponent of pointing this out on this channel, that Pascal is very much having to work harder because he has so many guys on him. G's saying, logical, no problem at all. We'll check it out. Awesome. Yeah, no problem at all. Logical. Come on. We're a Raptor-Freak family. And, what are we going to get upset that you utter our names? As long as you're not sending people to dox us. What is that? I was like, what is all this, Mike? I'm like, oh my gosh, is Mike like in the CIA or something? Something's going on here. I was like, I did not understand your emails. It's really weird, man. All right, let's see. Jimmy's saying, I still think we could flip a switch and see a completely different team. It's not like we have been getting blown out every game. I still see hope. Manifest, boys and girls. Manifest. I'm with Jimmy on this. And I love how positive Jimmy's being today. It's coming in here like a ball of lightning saying a 7-game win streak. And now he's saying, I see the switch coming on. It's like, turn that Noah system off and boom, everything magically happens. I was wondering about that yesterday when they were doing the interviews in practice. Could I hear the cha-ching or any noise from the Noah? Did Nick come into practice and say, guys, we're going to try something different today? Click. turn it off. Y'all just shoot the old way. Let's go. And maybe that will help us. Just turn that Noah system off, Nick Nurse. Maybe in some ways he looks a little sad because he's like, no, you know what? Actually, I should save this. I should save this for when I call him. I'm not going to tell you what I want to say right now because it's comedy gold when I call Nick Nurse next time. You'll see. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to hold off. Mo's saying, did you mention Chris Boucher on Twitch versus Scotty on Twitch? Yeah, I said that he was on Twitch yesterday, but when I was in there, I told Chris, I said, Chris, you're way better at this game than Scotty. But it's true. But Scotty's not bad at it. It's just Chris is very good at like working with his teammates, and he's a much better long range shooter and stuff like that. But I don't think they'll play against each other. Like I feel like that would be fun for them. Y'all are in a hard time. Make it some fun. Invite each other to play video games on Twitch with each other, and the fans can see you guys having a good time. And boom, good vibes are starting to grow and sprout all around the team. I was like, man, yeah, Chris, just call Scotty up and play some COD with him. Get Gary in there. So get these guys playing video games together. And maybe that could be like a really weird roundabout way to getting good things happening on the basketball court for the team. Get that teamwork going in the middle of the Twitch game. So yeah. But yeah, I did talk a little bit about Chris being on there. There's not a whole lot to say. He just gets on there, he's sitting there and he's playing, and he doesn't say anything to us. He does not even like acknowledge we exist. Lolita's saying, I know it's business, but trading our boys will be heartbreaking. Yeah. And we want to minimize this. We don't want to go crazy and just like a bloodbath. They're like, yeah, you're out, you're out, you're out, you're out. And then, I mean, this is true. We really want to keep as much of our core as we can. And then really minimize the business part of things hurting our hearts. I'm a fun guy saying, I 100% agree with your Scotty instinct circumstance. Rob just sucks at expressing words. Yeah, he just doesn't. I don't know if he says it in a certain way. Maybe he did it on purpose just to get the rise out of people. And then he can make the argument, well, this is what I meant. I don't even have to go look at what he's saying. And I understand that's what he means. It's a talent thing. It's like a Larry Bird had it. It's like a Magic Johnson had it. It's like a LeBron has it. Well, Scotty has it. And in some ways, Alvin doesn't. And in some ways, idiot's right. See, I'm fair and honest here. I'm not going to just totally side against an idiot. If he is making a valid point in a certain way, it's just he's not going about it right. Let's see. Nameless saying, I really feel that the injuries derailed our whole season. Oh my gosh, that is like so true. While we were busy healing, other teams around the league were building chemistry, and it's possibly now an insurmountable hole to dig out of. Well, it just depends on how good we can get getting out of this mud. If we can like really get good inertia and then we're like so good, maybe we can make up for this. But it's going to be hard because the other teams are getting more reps in functional like roles and systems that they have figured out their identities and who they are as a team. And that is the biggest problem is we have no identity as a team and what we're all about and what we're doing. And that is a hard thing to just establish in itself. We could go the whole season and we may never figure it out. So that's the very first thing we got to do is establish what our team identity is, what the roles are going to be, and who's doing what and get it going. Last year we had this, and that's why it worked. This year we don't have it. It's still kind of up in the air and unclear. And that is really what's killing us. We may have figured out the roles and the identity of the team if we had everybody not hurt, especially Pascal. When Pascal got hurt in Dallas, that really was where it all went off the tracks, and it really sucks. Let's see. G is saying Chev brought up a good point. Pascal gets his points off the dribble and through contact, which is much more tiring than catch and shoot setup schemes. Yeah, this is true. And this is something Fred talks about a little bit on JJ Redick podcast. That one of the biggest difference between Pascal last year and Pascal this year is he's stopping at the mid-range and taking spot up shots like in the mid-range more often. And this is true. And this is really good because this will save him from stuff that you're describing right here, G, as far as taking punishment from spinning and going right up next to the basket. Well, he dribbles up. He either takes that three that we love when he just takes a three over somebody. They give him too much room. That's great. But also he's been doing stopping his drive mid-range and stopping and popping the mid-range without getting contact. That'll save him too in this way too. So that's a really smart wrinkle that he's added to his game, the mid-range stop and pop. And that is helping with this issue as far as like him having to go through contact and getting beat up that way. like getting too close to the basket. But cool. I like to hear what Chev's saying, and you let me know what his voice is saying from time to time. Jody's saying problem with idiot is it's his way of or the highway. Doesn't seem to want to agree with other people's ideas or comments. He seems like such a stressed out individual. Stresses me out at listening. Oh man, this is the thing. Yeah, some people want power. Some people want all control. Some people want to be a dictator. Some people want to be Donald Trump. Yeah, maybe that's his problem. Pensair, what are you doing, bro? Just like let people have their opinions. You don't have to be right on everything. I think the biggest thing about my channel that I've told myself is, you don't know everything, Lex. These people that come here, they know stuff too, and they have very good perception, and they teach you every day just as much as you teach them. And I think that may be the biggest lesson that Pensair needs to learn is that you are not just a teacher, you are a student as well, and that maybe you need to start opening your ears and listen to other people and having the ability to amend how you feel about things when new evidence comes in and shows you otherwise than what you feel and what you think is true. Well, there's evidence that comes out and counterbalance or says it contradicts what you think. Well, maybe you need to mend how you feel about it. This is a big thing in the whole world in politics too. There's a lot of people that just say this is this, and if somebody says something that disagrees, they just say they're wrong. Well, this is one thing I will say: science is always right, and scientists are right because they amend the facts as they find new evidence. And that people need to realize this, that, when you learn and you find out new things through discovery and experimentation, you change the truth of the world. And that is what science is. And that a lot of people don't want to, they just want to believe what they believe, and that's that. And nothing changes that. Well, you're fucked because you're wrong and you're not listening to other opinions and things like that. All right. I love your statement, Jody. And thank you for putting up with idiot, I guess. But yeah, that makes sense. This is a problem with a lot of content makers. It's just my way or the highway. And if you don't agree with me, in some ways, I'm a little bit like that, but it's really for the best. It's about like loving the Raptors. It's like my way or the highway. If you don't love the Raptors, you get the fuck out of here. It's like, that's the only thing I'm my way to the highway about. But otherwise, yeah, I can see this being a problem on this channel. And yeah, I'm glad I don't go there. I don't want to feel his stress through this show as far as like how he's feeling and stuff. Everybody has their own stress. We don't need to be feeling idiot stress from his content. Mike saying, no lie detected on that one, Jody. 100%. Right on. G saying, can't believe he gets into Twitter beefs with Fred's family. Shaking my head. Wow, is he doing that seriously? Oh my gosh, that is so cringe. Listen, I'm gonna say this again. The initial thing that made me hate the guy and write him off forever was this hit piece on Fred that he was going after him like 2 or 3 years ago, talking about how he wouldn't sign autographs at a G League game. And I'm like, why are you putting this on blast? Why are you making this such a big deal? His intentions for what he wants for the team are not good. He does not want them to win. He does not want them to be in a positive like headspace. He wants to cause chaos and turmoil. And that's why I ask all of y'all, just boycott him. Let's stop giving him traffic. Stop giving him views because he is after Fred. He wants to bring him down. He wants him to get sent out of the city. And fuck him for those kind of things. And fuck him for fighting with Fred's family online. The audacity of that idiot coming after Fred's family and beefing with them publicly on Twitter. Yeah, what a fucking goof. Idiot. Yeah, I seriously, y'all stop going and feeding his numbers in any kind of way. Seriously, because we only encourage him when we do that. And I feel like our swear jar's a little filled up today for him right now. And we're talking about him way too much right now. Fun guy saying, yeah, G, and that's what still separates Pascal and superstardom. He's not as good a shooter as Durant and guys like that. Pascal is all slow ISO grind game. It becomes harder against 3 or 4 or 5 guys on him. I'll disagree with this to a degree because, like I said just a little bit ago, he's adding this mid range and he's getting better as 3-point shots. So this is getting a little bit more easier for him, and this is what he has to do to have longevity in the NBA. He can't play as crazy so much and so much physicality. He's gonna have to get better like Kevin and be a better jump shooter as he gets older. And he is becoming that. His mid-range looks really good, and his threes are way better this year than they were last year. So the transition's happening. It's just it won't happen instantly, and it may be a slow change over a couple of years. And then all of a sudden, it may be like in a year or two, you're like, wow, Pascal's a really good jump shooter. And I'm just figuring that out. Because it is really, he is expanding his game in that way. That it isn't all exactly just ISO and spinning down there. It's not that anymore. He's taking threes. He's doing the stop and pop mid range. And he's definitely passing out more to other guys too. Before he wasn't very good at passing out the double, and he just kind of strong arm through the contact. And I hated that. But this year he's actually recognizing it, and he's finding guys like OG for the outlet three and stuff. And that's very, very good change. So I'm going to disagree with some of this fun guy here and say that he is actually going to get this stuff, and that he will get better at that kind of thing too, the shooting that you're talking about. Jimmy's saying, anybody else feel the Scotty sophomore slump is overblown? I know he won Rookie of the Year, but all these other coveted players were the number one option from day one. Of course, their stats would be way better. Yeah, I think that there's two things happening here. There's, first of all, last season was anything goes, do whatever you want, that's fun, and just have fun, Scotty. And boom, you see what happens when he has fun. Things seem like they're easy because he was doing the easiest stuff. This year, he's doing harder stuff. And then also, it's not even that it's a sophomore slump. He's not the kind of player everybody thinks he is. I keep saying the last couple weeks, he's like a Jason Kidd more than he's like a LeBron James in some ways right now. He's not the end all be all superstar that's going to carry water and be the scorer. He's more like he's going to be an assist guy, get rebounds, play good defense, and score as needed in a little amount. And that's the thing. Everybody just gauges the points per game as the most important stat, as to whether guys improved or not. And it's the stupidest way to go about it. Like, just because his stats were like 15 points per game last year and now it's like 14 points per game, everybody thinks he's in a slump. It's stupid logic because his stats overall are up. Like, as far as like rebounds and assists and stuff like that. It was funny this summer. Scotty was asking us, like, how much should I average this year, guys? He was like asking us, like, we could tell him, and then he would just like go do it. And I was like trying to tell him, do 20 points a game, like 8 rebounds, and like 6 or 7 assists a game. And he's not that far off other than the points. I thought he could make a points jump this year, but it's not happening. And it's okay. And I think you're right. The sophomore slump is stupid. The whole characterization is dumb. And other players in their second year are having just as much trouble keeping consistent, like Evan Mobley, Franz Wagner. There's different players that are in their second year around the league that aren't having it. Look at Cade. His sophomore slump is he just doesn't get to play. So it's like, oh my gosh, the stats are actually okay, and they're actually better in some cases. It's just the scoring. They only look at the scoring. They say, oh, he's slumping because the scoring's down. Stupid. So stupid. They can't look at everything. G saying, I blame Noah and the Mavs floor mop team for the season. Yeah, let's blame the Mark Cuban and his stupid ass wet floor in Dallas, and let's blame that Noah system. Ooh, that dreaded Noah. Space Cadet saying, Jody White, I agree. Anyone who fights with players, relatives, and family is taking it too far. He's a weird dude. Yeah, who the fuck are you? Are you arguing with Shantae? Are you arguing with his brother? Yeah, that's fucked up. Like, I would not come at any Raptors family like that. Like, that is just kind of stepping the lines. It seems crazy. It's a little psycho. It's a little psycho to me. Because, like, look, that's fucked up. Like, seriously, idiot. Get your life together and stop taking it out on people. Nameless is saying, I truly feel if you bring this whole team back as it is, minus the injuries, we have a much better season. Jody sounds like that guy is dealing with real maturity issues. Hopefully he can grow up. Yeah, that guy, that idiot. Let's not even say his name, and we won't even talk about it. He probably is dealing with some stuff. I don't know why he's miserable. Who knows? Who cares? It's his own problem. More he goes away, is better. I think you're right. I mean, if we have a better luck with our season next year, we could have a totally different outcome with the exact same roster. I'm serious. It may not sound like that or seem like that, and as bad as it seemed recently, but I'll bet you if we could just get on the right foot and get some good inertia, good feelings, it would make a lot of this stuff go away. It's the opposite right now. That's the biggest problem with our team. Monique saying, so does Joe suit up this afternoon, even if only one practice? I hope so. I'm pretty sure he will be available and be in a jersey for the game today. And who knows if he gets called and puts out on the court. I really hope he does. It sounds like he will. It sounds like from my opinion, from what I saw in the interviews yesterday, what they're saying, Nick Nurse being coy, he's like, I don't know what to expect from Joe if we're going to put him out there yet. But listen, he's an Iowa guy, and he's an Iowa guy. Iowa guys, look out for Iowa guys. It could very well be that there's an Iowa guy out there taking some threes for us today. I wouldn't be upset about it because we need anything. We need a little bit of a spark. If this guy Joe Weiskamp can come in there and spark up our 3-point shooting to be better, all of a sudden I am all for it. We need a little bit of a cavalry to come in and save us. And it could be Joe. It's just, I think in some ways, Nick doesn't want to put the pressure on him to say, okay, you're our savior. You're coming in to save the season for us. In some ways, he could end up being this guy that does save our season in some weird spark way. But he doesn't want to put that pressure on him. And he doesn't want to, if nothing happens with him, it's like, don't say anything about it. But in some ways, it may be secretly, he's like, okay, let's hope this happens and let's see what happens. I think he will play today. And I hope he does, and I hope that he is very successful and he helps us in the way I just described. Mike saying big facts, Lex, and everyone is in the same case. No one is immune to learning more about the game. Hence, being a real one who searches for the truth. That's what I'm saying. Like, who is the fucking end all be all that knows everything in this whole entire world of anything? No way. The smartest people, once again, they realize they know nothing. And that the smartest person learns something from every single person they meet, even if the person seems like they're, not as smart, maybe not as well off. Maybe there are other different things that are a turn off, but you can always learn something from everybody. It doesn't matter who they are. They all have something to offer you that you don't know. And that the more you think that way in life, the more it comes out and you get more knowledgeable because you look for the things to learn from those people instead of just disregarding them and ignoring them. It's really crazy. The people that you at least expect can give you the biggest, best life lessons that you didn't even realize that were right there. You just needed to talk to them. It's crazy. It's crazy. Lion Hunter saying tonight versus the Blazers is a must win. Then the next 3 games are against Charlotte and Atlanta. We could pull off some wins here and get close to 500. Still too early to tank. I'm with you, Lion Hunter. I'm with the positive guys today. Jimmy Pope, Lion Hunter, I'm with you guys today. I want to ride to a W today and get some good inertia and get both these games against Charlotte. Like I said, I'm going to go to one of these games against Charlotte. If we are having trouble today still, I am going to go to we had a game against Portland last year here in Toronto that was absolutely dreadful. Let's remember when Portland came here last year when we had no fans and we had absolutely one of the worst starts and they absolutely were doubled up on us like by 30 points or something like that. That was a horrible game. I think that these Raptors that are on the team were there because they can think about it. And this can be a really good locker room bulletin board fodder. That much like Julius Randle was feeling things about Pascal Siakam getting 52 in Madison Square Gardens, where you want to pay back on Friday night coming here. Well, maybe we need to remember some payback for the Trailblazers for the way they came to Toronto last year and absolutely destroyed us early in the game. And we came back and tried to win at the very end of the game, but too little too late, let them have too much of a big jump on us. And we made a miraculous kind of try to come back, but we didn't make it enough. And maybe they just need to remind themselves of what happened last year when Portland came to Toronto. So, yeah, get any kind of locker room fodder, Raptors, to use to motivate you today. And remember the game against Portland here in Toronto last year. It was ugly. It was not a good game. And you guys could have won it, but you started too late in the game. You let Portland kill us, and then you hurried up and tried to come back at the end, just like we've been doing recently. So remember that, and let's do it differently this year. Let's do it differently this year, for sure. All right, let's keep going in the comments. G saying when they clog the paint and play zone, they need zone buster schemes, and players need to cut to the net. Yes. Chris Boucher, do that zone buster middle shot in the middle, and just get better at finding and moving off the ball, different Raptors, and finding each other in cuts, and we will beat a zone. We will beat a zone. Lolita's saying, you're so right. Pensair's so Fred negative. If Fred scored 80, he would find something wrong with it. He just hates him, and I don't understand that. I wonder about fans that come into the Raptors Tonight chat and are just so negative. Like that Anna girl was so negative the other day, talking about how she don't want to go to the games anymore. How can anybody watch this team? I'm like, are you really a real person? Or are you just somebody who's paid to come in? Like, I really do believe some of these people that are adding to the negative noise around the Raptors are bots that are paid for by fans like Boston Sports, like fans of other nations that come. They pay bot farms to come into Raptor spaces and just talk a lot of shit and really cause more confusion and bullshit. because some of the shit she was saying was not really supportive towards the team, and it was pissing me off. It's like, I forget, is Anna or Erica that's in the Raptors tonight chat? You'll know who I'm talking about, Monique. You saw her. Um, yeah, I just really find that like some of these people's motives for what they're saying is like they're not fans because they're not coming from the attitude that they want the team to do well or win. Because anybody who's anti-Fred is anti the Raptors wanting to win. And I really do believe that. So there's something wrong with Pensier's grudge against Fred. And like it's getting in the way of him being a real Raptor fan. Let's just put it that way. Nameless is saying you all owe a total of 27.68 to the jar today. All right, yeah, I'm serious. We're gonna start doing this. You keep track, Nameless. You might have to be the jar treasurer. We're gonna need to know how much is accrued and over time, and we'll keep that total. And then when the time comes, pay up, y'all. Pay up because y'all talked about that idiot too much. Is what I'm gonna say. So Nameless is keeping track. Tom Duke saying blame Noah. Good luck, Joe Weiskamp. Go Raptors. Nurse is waiting on hold. I'm not calling him today. It's game day. I don't want to bug him right now. I'll call him after the game. I'll call him tomorrow. It's always after the game. I don't like bugging him on game day. I have the right to call Nick Nurse. I don't want to abuse it, and I don't want to call him before the game when he's preparing, especially a game that's coming up so soon at 3:30. He has to use all his time to the best of his ability for things for the game and preparation. He doesn't need to talk to the Raptorsfreak on the phone, but we'll call him tomorrow, Tom. Jimmy's saying, I think if Scott was the genuine second option behind Pascal, he could average around 20. I love OG, but I hate seeing him lose his dribble multiple times a game. You know, Nick said something too in the interview yesterday that in some ways, one of the reasons maybe Joe won't get to play is because he has a couple guys in the queue ahead of him to get their chances. And then in some ways, that is really kind of how he works. It could be that OG is just in line to be the second option for right now. And if it doesn't work completely right, then he switches it. And all right, Scotty, it's your time to be now more of the second option. And it's the same thing with Joe Weiskamp. He's like, I would like to put Joe Weiskamp in right away, but maybe there's a couple guys ahead of him in the queue to get their chances, like Jeff Doughton Jr. So we'll have to see how this is handled. I'm totally with you. I think Scotty would average around 20 points if he was being going to that way. But I think they're trying to go to him, and in some ways, he's shying away from taking the challenge. And I don't like that. I want him to be very aggressive and be like, I want to do this. I'm motivated. I want to be the best version of me. Because in some ways, he's being a little sheepish right now. And I don't like that. Scotty, you need to be a lion. You need to get out there and you need to be fierce and ferocious and go and take what you want on that court. Because you can. You have all the skills in the world to do this. It's just you need to grow into understanding and realizing your powers. It's like you have all kinds of innate powers that you are not using yet. And you will learn them and you will use them in the most effective way as the years go by. It's just right now it's too fresh, too new, and he just doesn't know exactly where to start. Well, he has some really good building blocks already. Like that low post stuff is so good. And I just want to see anything down there. You could fuck around and not do very good, but just try. That's all we want to see. Just go down there, hit them with a little bit of the arm, and just put that ball up over them, and it will go in more often than not. Trust me, it will. Jody's saying Raptors fans and YouTubers are just so passionate about our team, good and bad. Maybe our theme song should be why can't we be friends? 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 It's true. I mean, that's the most important thing is the passion. It's like my passion for the team should be the same as idiots. My passion should be the same as, I don't know, you guys. And you guys do have the same passion as me. A lot of people do. So it's different levels of passion that, bonds us. And, you see it in me and you're like, man, I feel the same way about the team as Lex does. And we share that and we become a tribe of like common-minded, like people that feel the same way about the Raptors. And that is really important and special. I don't think that he has that passion the same way as us. I think that his ego's in the way. That's part of the problem. You start making content on here, you could become an egomaniac. You get a couple clicks, you get in this, your motives for what you're doing change because you just care about getting more clicks, pertaining to more people, getting more generally liked. Maybe you find that controversy gets you more traffic. So you go into that. That's the motivation of the content maker also. What is his mission statement? Like Mike made a mission statement for Logical Raptors Fanatic channel. What is his mission statement? His statement is to provide project truth, factual evidence, and facts about the Raptors in a reference kind of style way to talk about things. My mission statement is to provide a community for positive Raptor fans who are passionate about the team winning and scheming and talking about how they can win. That's all I care about. Pensair cares about how many clicks he gets. He cares about how many people sees this stuff. I don't give a shit about that. I don't care how many people watch me. I just care about us winning and us having a place to talk about the Raptors in a positive place. So really his motives, it's motives half the time. And his motives are not sound or like pure. Let's just put it that way. That's the thing you got to look at. What are the motives for why the content maker makes the content? And then like that can really help you like suss out the guys who are kind of like, I don't really like this. It's really that part. The passion's usually there, but in some ways the passion gets overridden by the ego. And in this case, I really have to keep myself in check. If this is a younger version of me, like the 30-year-old Lex, I'd probably be way more egotistical and not as grounded and maybe be more a jerk. But I've grown as a person in my adulthood and become more wise to that side of me so that I've changed and I've tried to become more well-grounded and not an egomaniac in some ways. And that's a big change. It's hard to do, to get real with yourself and change that kind of stuff. And it may be that idiot just needs to go through that to an extent, but I'm not waiting around for him to do that. And in some ways he's ruined for it because I didn't start my channel when I was younger and I was like that. So I've set the tone for who I am from where I am right now in my 40s. And he may be ruined forever because he started that way and this is how he's always going to be. And that's just how it is. Tom Duke saying, money flying, just saying, I've erased so many negative messages about that guy. Grew up with the fine jar. His minions now are calling me a robot. That's awesome, Tom. You go. Let his minions hate you. You know you're fighting the good fight if you've got that crew after you. I love that. Space Cadet saying, Sid Seixeiro dropping more fuel on the Fred social media fire. These tweets are just baiting the angry fans. Yeah, he's an idiot too. In fact, he's in a lot of ways like idiot Pensair. That, he is much, once again, his motives are just to get traffic and to get views on his TV show and stuff. He doesn't care about the Raptors. He's never been a Raptors fan, really. He's always talked out of his ass about the Raptors. His opinions about the Raptors and how well they do have always been kind of full of shit. And in some ways, he's another sports more a fan of like hockey. He's more a fan of the baseball team. And the basketball is a second thought to him. That's why I hated that show, Tim and Sid, all those years ago. Everybody loved Tim and Sid. I hated them. I don't like either one of those guys. I think they're cocky, arrogant assholes. And their opinions on the Raptors I never took seriously because they were always kind of like half-assed. They're very much like Bob McCowan. They're half-assed, like they're all sports, and basketball's an afterthought in their world. So fuck them. And Sid Seixeiro, whatever he's doing, fuck him. And if he's making things worse for Fred because he's starting some more bullshit, fuck him is what I'll say. Fuck you, Sid Seixeiro. I'll say that. Evelyn saying, good morning, Raptor Free crew. I see you at the game this afternoon. Group hugs. All right, Evelyn's going down there. You go down there, Granny Evelyn, and you bring that good karma, that good energy, that good things, and good vibes down there. You go, Evelyn. Thank you for reaching out to me. And Adrian and I would love to find out what you're all about, what you're asking, want to send us. Just reach out to her separately and talk to her. I talked to her about it a little bit yesterday. So she's expecting a message from you, Evelyn. So I don't know if it's something that's more for her or me, but yeah, we'll figure it out if you still wanted to get that, whatever that item it is to us. I appreciate you, Evelyn, and have a great time in the game. I hope we win. I almost went down there myself. Isaac saying community over cult. In some ways, cults can be communities. I kind of like that we're kind of a cult. And in some ways, it's apropos. But in some ways, it really is. We're more like a community, too. I guess you're right. I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right. I think maybe I should get away from the cult thing. And we were talking about it a lot early with this channel. Is like the cult with wearing hoods and praying and chanting and like being really weird secret society cult. But yeah, community's probably better. Mike's saying, laughing my fucking ass off. Are you a real person? I ask myself that question a lot there at times. Are you mean him or me? I don't know. Monique saying, Gary Trent Jr. wants to beat his former team. I dislike Sid Seixeiro. Yeah, I hate him too, Monique. Yeah, of course Gary's going to want to play big against Portland today. Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll have to see how this goes. I really hope that Portland is still kind of reeling. They're having a kind of a mid time right now, and then maybe the injuries will not make things easy for them. Maybe Nurkic is not playing today. That will have a huge difference in the game. Jimmy's saying, I'm trying to come with a different attitude than last stream. I was annoyed. Dude, it's showing, man. And I appreciate it, man. Seriously, you're a positive leader today. And I love it. It seems like every single day, maybe a different one of you guys will step up and be like more on the bright side than unusual. And I love that. Sometimes it's G, sometimes it's Nameless, sometimes it's Cool Cat, sometimes it's Jimmy Pope. And I appreciate that. It's like a baton of positivity and ray of light that we're just passing from day to day. Sometimes I can't handle it. I'm like, I'm bogged down. I'm like, yeah, guys, this sucks. I'm stressed out. I'm depressed, and this sucks. The Raptors keep losing. And y'all are the ones that bring me up and lift me up this morning. So it's like that's how it works sometimes. It's like last year there were dark spots and I was totally down in the dumps, and G shone a light and really helped me last year with my mindset. And this is how it works. This is part of how we support each other, is we pull each other out of the bad stuff in our heads about what's going on with the team, even if it's super bad like it is right now. That you're just doing your part today. And we appreciate it, Jimmy, that you are the positive leader today. Jody's saying shooting has been a problem at times. Nate Darling is lighting it up with Clippers G League team. Just a good Nova Scotia boy who won a gold medal for Canada at under 19 World Cup with RJ Barrett. Yeah, Nate Darling. Yeah, I always like to hear young Canadians doing very well. And yeah, man, wish we had him around. Maybe if he had been free, he would have been Joe Weiskamp, Nate Darling. Yeah, it's good to hear about Canadians doing very successful. This has been a great year for Canadian players in the NBA. All kinds of great Canadians doing great stuff this year, and I love it. I love it so much. G saying, Jimmy, love the manifesting. That's right. See, we're all about it, man. You're doing the right thing, and we appreciate it. Fun guy saying, as much as it hurts to say, because I love Fred, the person in his story and everything, people's arguments are the team is a better version without Fred, and can't say I disagree. That's tough to gauge and really to say for sure. It really is tough to gauge and say for sure. Like, in some ways, I can kind of see why it might be. It's maybe because of his size and the knocks on that, and us getting a little bit more. He's been hurt more, so it's hard for us to remember the really, really good Fred. So it's like there's not been as much a stretch of time where it's Fred at his optimal level, playing really, really good, hitting his shot. And that's why we're having a hard time remembering just how good he is that he is really, really good, and we will regret it. Seriously, if we let him go, we will regret it. It'll be more than we regret him more than Fred. I mean, Kyle. We will regret losing Fred more than we lost Kyle. Seriously, because we're not set up to lose Fred like we were to lose Kyle. It'll be a very different kind of void. In fact, in some ways, when we lose Fred, it'll be like losing Fred and Kyle all at once. Now it's like we're losing Kyle on layaway, but when Fred leaves, we'll have lost both of them. Do you understand that kind of logic? Because that's the kind of the way I look at it. Because Fred is kind of carrying all the steam and everything that Lowry used to do at this point. And if you lose Fred, it's not like he passed it to Malachi and he's got it now. We lose all the stuff that Kyle built in the time he was here that has been put into Fred. So does that make sense? So in some ways, that's part of his value is like the accrued stuff from Lowry, the knowledge base from Lowry in him. And we don't want to lose all that. That's like getting rid of a hard drive full of really good programs and information on a computer that's really essential. And that's how I feel about it. Race Mode saying, good morning, freaks. Good morning, Lex. Do you have Bobby's number? Can you ask if he regrets not re-signing Yuta? And would Kyle come back on veteran minimum? All right. Since Race Mode said, I'll call Bobby. I won't call Nick today because it's a game day, but let me call Bobby real quick. It's ringing. Usually he doesn't answer like right away. He's going to take a bit. Man, I don't think I'm going to get him. I think it might be a voicemail. Okay. Hey, Bobby, this is Raptorsfreak. We were just wondering, Edmund and I are on the Raptorsfreak live stream right now, and he brought up a really good question. Do you regret not getting Yuta to come back this year, seeing what he's doing for the Nets now at this point? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right, I'll tell him. All right, thanks, Bobby. Have a great day. Bye. Okay, so he basically said, "Listen, at that point, they had thought that they'd gotten everything out of Utah that they thought that they could with us, and that they knew that there was possibility that he could have been better, like get better, like he did this year, but they weren't totally sure, and it wasn't a sure thing, and they weren't willing to continue to invest in him. So that's basically kind of what he said just now. So it's like we can't go back and change things. It just happened to work this way. And who would have known that he was just going to like come out and be this consistent this year? Because he hasn't been consistent his whole entire NBA career until this year. So there's a lot into it. So I understand what he was saying. Is basically like well, he wasn't in the plans of the way the salary cap was going with what we wanted to do, and that they didn't. They thought that they had run the course with him, given every chance, and that they weren't going to get anything out of him. Well, they were wrong, and that's too bad. But that's how he felt. So there you go. And you wanted me to if he regrets not signing, and would Kyle come back on a veteran minimum? I don't know. Let's not do that. It'd be interesting and weird if Kyle showed back up. I wouldn't be totally hating that, but in some ways, it really has to be like very little money. Cool Cat's saying, folks are saying our top players are not that good, yet every team salivating at Pascal OG on their team. Yeah, I mean, that's part of like trying to buy and sell for cheap. It's like, go ahead and say they're not that good so that you can get them for cheaper price. Lex cooking on creators and how things are. Trying, I don't know. I'm not always right. Lex looks like he's in his late 20s. I know. I'm 47. I'll be 48 this year. Yeah, sometimes I was like, listen, you can put a lower age on some certain apps. Isaac saying he's actually timeless. I don't know what I am. I may be just some weird sort of entity or something. I don't know. All right, Jimmy, I appreciate that. I appreciate why y'all are here. Mike's saying the real person comment was about the copy paste takes for bot thinking. It comes from people playing with people they think less of and have no problem lying for money. This stuff is rapid everywhere. Yeah, this is and it's in all aspects. It's not just in basketball. It's in all sports. It's in all like spaces of life. It's in anywhere where there's a court of opinion and people want to be shaping perception. They will pay money to have like fake accounts come out there and reinforce what they want. This is why we saw so many people in recent years loving Trump online. Half of them were not even real people. Half of them were just made up Russian bots paid for by Trump to inflate the perception that he had a lot of support. In fact, he had very, very small support, but people bought into it and he tried to make it look way bigger than it was. A lot of people hate him and didn't like him, but he had fake people out there acting like him. And one of the Raptors groups I'm on Facebook, it's crazy in our adversity how many of these bots are posting the most crazy shit in there, and you go and look at their accounts and they're obviously bot accounts. They're like a fake person and they have no friends and anything like that. This is basically somebody out there who really hates the Raptors that wants to fuck them up is paying a bot farm to come in and cause chaos and dissension with information. So really, really suss out who's saying what and what their source is you may find this is not even a real person. This is a manufactured bot that's just putting a message out that somebody paid for them to do that. It's that insidious. That's right. Let's see. Lion Hunter saying, I think the really good version of Fred was probably the last couple games in terms of his defensive effort and all-around game hitting a few more open shots. Yeah, he's playing okay now. Like the last game, he got 28 and he was our best player. And it sucks because nobody else is stepping up around him. It's like we need to get everybody to show up all at once. We can't have like 2 or 3 good players for the whole entire game. We need at least 5 or 6 players playing at a good level. And we're not getting that recently. And that's a huge part of our struggles in scoring and doing anything. We just need guys to step up and make baskets. I don't care if they're on the bench or starters. Everybody needs to step up and play better. G saying food for thought. Fred didn't play Memphis. They went down to 20 first quarter. He went to the bench for 2 minutes versus the Knicks, and Knicks went on a run. Yeah, there's a lot of evidence that shows when Fred's not out there, we have trouble in certain ways. And that Knicks game showed it for sure. I agree with that. Cowboys here. Good morning, Lex, Raptors freaks. Hey, hopefully we get a win. Let's go. I'm with you, Bradley. Let's hopefully get a win also. Fun guy saying, but we got better when we lost Kyle with the new team look, and losing Fred could even enhance that. I really don't know, but I see the argument from the other side. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not it's tough. I don't even know what they're gonna do with this. And either way they go, I mean, in some ways there's gonna be a good and bad side to either way they go. And in some ways, it's sometimes you want him to go with the known. And once again, he's a champion. He's a winner. He really wants to win. And there's some intangibles to that are very important. G saying, looking at the team, do you think this makes sense? They were playing small ball until Coloco develops without the shooters for small ball. Either the shot will start falling or they get some roster or they tweak the roster. Yeah, I agree with this. The small ball doesn't work without shooters, and that's part of our problem right now. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm having kind of brain farts right now. I think 2 hours in, my brain is kind of going mushy. So I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon. I'm gonna read the last couple comments, do the real mascot matchup, and we'll get out of here. Especially since the game is like in just like 3 or 4 hours. Um, and I was just saying, Barnes has to be underneath all the time. If he's shooting, who's going to rebound? Yeah, that's another thing. I don't like the rebounding effort recently. We're not crashing the boards like we have been. We're not getting rebounding battles. We've been losing the rebounding battle in most of these games recently, and I don't like that. This was really a big, huge part of why we won last year is we out rebounded the other team. So we need to do better on the rebounding and in all kinds of different ways. And part of it is that these other teams have had big centers that have ate up and gobbled up all the rebounds over us because of their height. And that just means we have to send a couple of guys and they have to be more aggressive and quicker to be able to get to those rebounds. But I don't like the way we're rebounding lately. We got to do better. Logical Raptors fanatic facts. Politics and the oldest is the oldest industry doing it. It was movie trailer hype takes some movies. Okay, I don't totally understand that. Monique saying, remember the Y campaign with Kyle? Pretty cool stuff. Way to go, Adidas. Yeah, Kyle's had some interesting posts on social media recently. Some good stuff. I've seen him do some. Really wonder if he's talking to Fred. He's probably helping him. G saying, put Fred on a team with a proper center and somebody setting proper screens. We may regret trading him if that happens. Thankfully, I don't make these decisions. All depends on whom replaces him. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about moving anything out. Let's talk about Portland. Let's talk about the real mascot matchup. The last time we saw the mascot, it was he was on the ground. He had just gotten like stabbed by a buck in the back, a 52-point buck, like stabbed him up in the back. And he's like on the ground with a bunch of nicks in his back, like bleeding out his back. Was he going to get any help? No, he's not. He's just laying there bleeding. And it really, really hurts. It really, really hurts. And like he's not getting anywhere. He's just laying in the woods on his face with his back all cut up from this antlers just carving into him. And he's just laying there and he's like wondering, am I going to die? Am I just going to die in the middle of the woods like this? That it's like things are so bad for me at this point in this year and this thing that's going on with me that am I just going to die in the middle of the woods right now with nobody around? But he hears something crunching. There's a trail nearby and somebody's walking along the trail. Somebody who's got a stick and they're just like a hiker and they're coming by. The Raptors kind of over off to the side of the trail and a little bit under foliage and maybe kind of obscured by the plants around him, but he kind of is like trying to make some noise to get the attention of the Trailblazer. And he wants to see if he'll help him. So what's going to happen? Will he be able to get the attention of this guy that's hiking with his stick? And is he a nice guy? Will he get help, medical help, because he's all messed up because he's like carved in the back by a 52-point buck and the nicks are bleeding out of him? Ooh, we'll find out next time. Real mascot matchup. There you go. I hope y'all don't find these to be cop-outs. I'm just trying to go with the flow. And some of that just came off the top of my head. I just made that up. I didn't even premeditate that story. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we read all that. Let's finish up, y'all. Thanks for joining me today for the preview of the Portland Trailblazers at the Toronto Raptors today, 3:30 p.m. Early start. So be ready for that, Raptor freaks. Get ready. Get down there, Evelyn, and bring that good vibes to the building, Granny Evelyn. You bring that good magic down to the building and help those Raptors win today. You remember last year when the Trailblazers came here last year, Raptors, and how bad that game was, how disappointing and awful that game was. Yeah, don't let that happen again. It was on a Sunday too. It was a Sunday last year. Logical saying the movie industry pays for reviews from newspapers to get a fluff movie trailer article to get the movie buys and clicks. People are paying the same game for themselves now, but the movie industry is old. Okay, I get that. And Jimmy saying peace out, and Edmund saying let's go. I get that. You saying that there people are paying people to do things to make things inflated and look better. I get that. I get that. All right, y'all. Tonight the injuries are as such. Otto Porter Jr. is out, and then for the Trailblazers, we've got a few injuries, y'all. Gary Payton II is day to day. It's his ankle. He's probable for today. We'll have to pay attention to hear the news about him and Nurkic, who is currently listed as day to day also. I'll really pay attention to that, and I'll keep it updated in the Facebook chat. And also here on the stream page, we will have the update on the injury there too. Justice Winslow is out, and Nasir Little is out also. The referees for tonight are Ben Taylor, Natalie Sago, and Evan Scott. Those actually a very interesting ref crew, and I don't know how to gauge them, if they'll be good or nice to us. Ben Taylor's been a friend in the past, but this year he is not. And Natalie Sago, it could go either way. Evan Scott is somebody that can be pushed around, though. That's the good stuff. Tom Duke's saying, be loud, Granny Evelyn, and most important, have a great time. Go Raptors. And Monique is saying, W Stream, Lex. Let's go Raptors. Always keep at it. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining me today. Raptors, come out with the right attitude. Come out with some pride. Come out and be like, you know what? We got to stop this shit. Finally, we're going to stop this shit today. And we're just going to win, baby. That's all we want to hear you say. Just win. Just get that W. I don't care how you do it. Do it whatever way you have to. Out-rebound them. Out-shoot them. Make better shots. Contain Dame Lillard as best as you can. Keep him off those three-point shots. Just really, really try to do everything as best you can to get the W. We believe in y'all. We're not giving up on y'all. The real ones are still with you. Other people may have took off now, but not us. We are still with you, Raptors, and we believe in you, and we want you to win today. So just win, baby. Just win. Just win. Fun guy saying, if we lose today, I will quit cannabis, and hopefully we will start winning. Oh, those are big life decisions to make. If you want to make that sacrifice to help the Raptors win, I commend it. You go ahead. Whatever you want to do, that's your choice. Fun guy, that is getting serious. That's right. That's what Tom Duke's saying. All right, y'all. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and have a great Sunday. Hopefully, it'll be a great day of a Raptors win over the Portland Trailblazers, and we'll get that win this afternoon and have a very nice evening. Either way, I'll be back tomorrow 9:30 to react to the game, and hopefully that Trailblazer will find us on the path and will help us get out of the mud and help us get some medical attention because our team needs it right now. We need some help. Let's go, Raptors!